Welcome to the world of oval racing, where you usually see purpose-built race cars race around tracks at 300 kilometres per hour. This is V8 Supercars, Australia's premier racing category, transformed to race on some of the most famous tracks in the world of motorsport: Daytona, Homestead, Miami and Talladega, just to name a few. It's down to 600 plus horsepower, roaring around ovals at breakneck speed. Door-to-door, three-wide action. There are always crashes. And don't forget, get ready for the big one. Where, just like real motorsport, tempers will flare and blood pressure will rise. There can only be one winner, and the rest will be left licking their wounds until next week. So strap yourself in, this is going to be a bumpy ride. This is the RayWhite Gayndah Australasian SUPERCARS eSeries.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Indy Esports Network for your Sunday night. We are back here for what is the final round of the RayWhite Gayndah Australasian SUPERCARS eSeries, here from the Brickyard for the Indianapolis 400. Joining me in the booth, as per always, is Paul Jackson, and special guest, and going to see him in the booth a lot longer here on the Indy Esports Network, Ryan Barber. Good evening to you, gentlemen.
Good evening, Aidan, and good evening, Ryan. And been a long day, Aidan, for us, and it's going to be a longer night as well.
Yeah, it has been a long day. Paul and I participated in the CXR Bathurst 1000, so we've been in the seat all day, and now we back up and do some commentary here for the final round of the RayWhite Gayndah Australasian SUPERCARS eSeries. Ryan, mate, you weren't behind the wheel today, but I'm sure you're in there supporting your father, who did team. Always there's a big incident there in practice, teaming up with your father today, and they got a nice solid top 12. But good to have you back in the booth here tonight, mate. So you excited for all the action here for what is the biggest round and the final round of the RayWhite Gayndah Australasian SUPERCARS eSeries in the Indy 400?
Yeah, Aidan, I'm really excited to see how this race unfolds, really, with they will have two sets of tyres for this race, so it will be a big tyre game, and I'm excited to see how people look after their rubber and make it to the end, hopefully. Yeah,
exactly right. We'll go through the race info before I just quickly come back to what you just mentioned. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight it is 160 laps around the Brickyard. A long race. Settle in, get your popcorn, get everything you need to settle in and enjoy all the action here on the Indy Esports Network. They have a 75% fuel drop, two sets of tyres in the bank, not including the ones they start on. No fast repairs here tonight. One green-white checker if needed. If you remember the last race of last season, it was absolutely amazing. It came down to 0.01 of a second with Cade Donnelly getting the better over Stephen Williams. Of course, myself and Paul Jackson as the broadcasters. Special guest commentator tonight, who's going to be a more familiar face here on the Indy Esports Network moving forward, Ryan Barber. Track notes: the track is 2.5 miles in length, 4.02 kilometres, whichever way you do read it, and the sim time is 8:25 a.m. in the morning. But Ryan, as they're just about to finish their practice session, they're 25 minutes into 30. You mentioned tyre wear. We did see that the tyre wear last season for the final round at Indy here, we had a few people pop the front right-hand tyre. So have they learnt from that coming into this round? Because especially around Indy, there's four distinct corners, so it puts a lot of pressure on that right front-hand tyre. Who's going to be able to manage that the best, I think, is going to be able to win this race.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would have learnt from last time, because most of the people that are racing on track now were in the race last time. So hopefully they look after their tyres, get to the end and get a good result.
Yeah, hopefully I do. But we've got time, as we said. Now we're just about to tick over 26 minutes into practice. Your mum's tuning in though. There, Ryan. She says she has pizza ready, so hopefully you've got that ready for your gob, mate. While you're ready to settle in for a couple of hours of supercar action around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But we'll go through your championship points as we come into the final round tonight. Justin Witcher, your reigning champion, is sitting at the top there coming into this final round on 334 points. In second place, Scott Rankin after what could have been last week, but he's kept the title fight alive coming into tonight. He's there in second with 312 points. Tell you what, don't write off Raymond Yeager there in third from Pinnacle Esports with 310 points. And we go down to Gary Wellman. Gary Wellman with a season that what could have been, because he's missed a couple of rounds due to some personal commitments there in fourth. Andy Barber, your father there, Ryan, sitting in fifth, a little bit back on 271 points, maybe a little bit too far back to challenge for a podium here for season number 2, the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, but he'll be there or thereabouts at the end of this one. Cade Donnelly there in sixth position, 262 points, and then you roll down, you can find your favourite driver, Pete Matson, the naming rights sponsor, there in seventh position as well. So a lot to play out here tonight as John Glass there on board getting really taily out of turns number 1 and 2 at Indianapolis. Turns 3 and 4 as he makes his way on to the main straight. Indianapolis, I've got to say, Ryan, is one of my favourite oval tracks on the iRacing server. Always seem to go pretty well there, and really love how it drives because it's got 4 distinct turns and you really got to manage those tyres. So we're going to, interesting to see how these guys are going to fare tonight. But at the moment, through this practice session, we're nearly 27 and a half minutes in. Raymond Yeager's currently setting the quick time at the top, telling the boys this is what you got to beat. 52.04 is that time for Raymond Yeager. Cade Donnelly there in second with a 52.28. Ruben Phelps from New Zealand over the ditch is in third, 52.30. Gary Wellman, 52.31. Justin Witcher, your reigning champion and current championship leader. Can he go back-to-back with back-to-back championship wins tonight for the first 2 rounds ever for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries? He's there in fifth with a 52.41, but not like a normal oval track here tonight, Ryan. Draft is going to play a massive part with these big, long straights down the front and the back stretch.
Yeah, 100%. The draft will play a big part, especially on the between the leaders and the people that are behind other cars. They can save a bit of fuel and, be able to pit a bit later if needed. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how they look after their car, the fuel and their tyres, and yeah, hopefully we'll see a championship winner at the end of this race.
Well, we're definitely going to see a championship winner. There's no two ways about that one. Will it be Justin Witcher? Will it be Scott Rankin? It's Justin Witcher's to lose at the moment. Oh, how's that old Winfield livery there by Ian Class? How good is that, Paul? You'd love that, being a Holden man. The old Winfield livery there, going back to the Skyline days, mate. You got to like that one.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad there, and good to see on the car. Bit of a retro throwback there.
Yeah, it's good to see a little bit of retro throwback, but it is still Raymond Yeager at the point. 52.04, a full 0.2 of a second clear. Cade Donnelly with a 52.28. Ruben Phelps there, 52.3. Then it's Gary Wellman, Justin Witcher, Christopher Finlay, Nicholas Walsh, Scotty Rankin, the title contender at the moment. Back in eighth in practice. Take no notice of that, ladies and gentlemen, because it is a standalone qualifying, so there will be no draft. So what you see here through the practice session is not necessarily where they are going to end up at the end of the qualifying session. 15 seconds to go here for the practice session, and we'll be bringing you all the action for what will be the final qualifying session for Season 2 of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah, that's a mouthful, Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries here on the InterSim Esports Network. We'll just let you watch these cars for a minute as we transfer across into the session, and we'll bring you all the action for qualifying.
Why don't we go on board with Justin Witcher?
So we've got Justin Witcher up into the broadcast booth. Justin, mate, we brought you up unannounced. My apologies. You're just about to go out on your qualifying lap. Reigning champion coming into the round, leading the championship as well. Would you like to take the viewers on your qualifying laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Yeah, how you going, boys? Yeah, we'll jump into it, I suppose.
Get amongst it, mate. Get amongst it. Jump in the car. We're on board with you when you hop out in a minute. Just let us know when you're in the car.
Yeah, I'm just going out now.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, your reigning champion, the Pinnacle Esports, number 21, sporting the number 1 as the reigning champion. Here, coming into the round, he does have Scott Rankin to fight tonight in second, but he comes into the round. Can he go back-to-back with back-to-back championships here for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries? But Justin Witcher, we'll hand it over to you. Talk the viewers through what it's like to do qualifying here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries.
Yeah, so doing our pre-lap, coming up the first quality lap now. As I'm sure you boys have touched on, it's a very simple track, 4 corners, all left-handers. It's pretty much comes down to speed in the straights and hitting those apexes. We're into 6 now, off a little bit, back to 5th. Want to touch the curb there and we're back on the throttle. This one is a bit more flat, off a little bit and then hit the curb and we're flat through there. Get it over and we're just going to stretch your legs right out the rev range into 6th. Back a bit down to 5th. Hit the curb. Same again. That's 1 lap, and then the second one, hopefully, we're a little bit faster.
No worries, mate. We'll let you go and concentrate on your second lap as you go across the line now. That puts you up into the pole position with a 52.33, mate. So go and concentrate on this lap. We'll put you back up into your channel. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lap from the Pinnacle Esports pilot of Justin Witcher. Just trying to find his channel at the moment. I can't put him down into it because they don't have the admin for me to be able to do that. So they're going to have to drag you up, mate. All right, there we go. So he's up there, but there we go. There's a pole lap at the moment, provisional pole, but on board with Sean Hart at the moment, sitting in the 3rd position with a 52.34. Couldn't go quicker that time around, so that was a 52.79. Justin Witcher's up on his last lap, so how good is that? Puts it on pole position provisionally while he's talking to us, and he's up into purple sector and not quite quick enough again in the second one there, but he's still holding. Oh, you've gone quicker again. So 52.26 by Justin Witcher, your championship leader and current reigning champion, rather. And then Scott Rankin. So where'd Scott Rankin put the car in qualifying there? He's got a lot of work to do tonight. 52.93 for Scotty Rankin. So your championship contender there in second, Ryan, 52.93. He's got a lot of work to do here around Indianapolis tonight.
Yeah, anything is possible, really, with the race start. Yeah, looking forward to seeing Justin Witcher and Peter Matson at the race start and who will get into turn 1 first and who can ultimately take control of the field at the start.
Well, you mentioned the 173 of Peter Matson. What a great qualifying result from Peter. He's been doing some great stuff here for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, and he's the naming right sponsor. He's had some solid results in the last couple of weeks, and I tell you what, he's backing it up tonight. He's put the 173 RayWhite Royal Gayndah car off the P2 provisionally at the moment. It looks like that's how we are going to start what is round number 11. We've got Ian Class out on the track at the moment, just trying to set one last final lap. 54.1's his quickest there, so he's going to take up the 17th position on the grid tonight for what is going to be a long night 160 laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard, for round 11, the final round of the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries, right here on the Indy Esports Network. Hope you're tuning in. Share it all across your socials because you're about to see some amazing supercar racing around the ovals. But we'll go through your starting grid tonight. Off the pole, your reigning champion and current championship leader, Justin Witcher. Out of P number 2, Pete Matson. Starting out of P3 tonight will be Sean Hart with Raymond Yeager on the outside of that second row in 4th. Cade Donnelly will start out of 5th with Gary Wellman out of 6th. Greg Spencer will start out of the 7th position. Ruben Phelps out of New Zealand in 8th. 9th position will be Jamie Nankervis with 10th position. Adam Malone after backing up from a Bathurst 1000 today. Christopher Finlay in 11th. Tristan Koch will start out of the 12th position as we go across the page. In the 13th position will be Aaron Dillon. 14th position, Scotty Rankin. A lot of work to do, but 160 laps to get that job done. Nicholas Walsh there in 15th, Nigel Payton in 16th, and it'll be a Quast final row, Ian Quast in 17th, and John Quast in 18th, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this is going to work itself out, especially if Scott Rankin starting out of the 14th position. He does have a lot of draft however, which he can save a lot of fuel with, and a late safety car could actually bring him really close to contention.
Yeah, safety cars are going to play a big part in this if we do have them. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are tuning in here on the Indy Esports Network, like I said, make sure you share it across the socials. You can tune into us across Facebook or YouTube, wherever you wish to watch us. But share it across. We like the love. We've got a big night coming up for the TCR series on Wednesday night. Looking forward to bringing you all the action with you on Wednesday night, Ryan, as well. That's going to be a great one. But we are Australasian Supercar eSeries racing, the final round. I tell you what, Paul, you can tune into this or chime into this little chat. Mate, it seems like yesterday we did round 1, season 2 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and we're already about to crown a champion for season 2.
Yeah, it has gone pretty quick, and blink and you miss it. But no surprise at the top of the leaderboard there is again for Justin Witcher. But I'm sure the next season, I'm betting we're going to see someone different up top there.
Yep, we will see someone different up top, and actually, hopefully it's you, Paul, because we did have a bit of an agreement that we've made with the Australasian Supercar eSeries. It will be broadcast here on the Indy Esports Network. Paul will not be in the booth, he'll be driving, I'll be commentating, but we'll still have the broadcast here on the Indy Esports Network, so we're looking forward to season number 3. I'm a little bit devastated I don't get to drive and whip your butt, Paul, but that's all right. I can do that on other things. Actually, you whipped my butt today in the Bathurst 1000, so I better shut up. But anyway,
maybe we need to take seasons each and off season.
Yeah, we'll go seasons each, so we can look terrible individually. That'll be fine. No worries. We're about to go green. Ryan, mate, Justin Witcher off the pole. I tell you what, after trying to put this championship in the bag, there's no better way to start it off tonight, starting out of the P1. We'll see how he goes off the start. So one more corner to navigate behind the safety car. Pete Matson on the outside of that front row. Best qualifying all year for Pete Matson. It's a Sean Hart Yeager, second row. Donnelly Wellman, third row. Spencer Phelps, fourth row. Malone Nankervis, fifth row. There'll be some fireworks in these first couple of rows early on in this race, ladies and gentlemen, I'd suspect. Don't expect them to be where they are off the start. The pace car goes into pit lane. We're waiting for the green light. It's in the hands of Justin Witcher. And we are going to go green very, very shortly for round number 11 of the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries. And we are green. Justin Witcher with a jump. And Pete Matson all automatically trying to just sort of get down and cover off on Sean Hart. But Sean Hart's got the third line through 1 and 2. Sean thinks better of it. Nice clean start there. Raymond Yeager looking for a nice early move up the inside of Pete Matson into turn number 2. Very close to contact there, and Pete Matson gets a good run out of turn number 2. And Pete Matson holds on to his second position, but now you're going to see the draft, right? So they're going to settle down now that they've sort of got status quo, and at the front anyways, you see him go 2 wide still in the background. 2 wide, probably 3 deep in the background. That's Ruben Phelps there. Part of that little battle, he's got that job done. So Ruben Phelps is actually down one position. He's dropped the position off the start. It is going to be, and there's Adam Malone there in the Tiona Holiday Park's Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. But look at the draft. The draft is going to be absolutely key tonight around Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I'm actually keeping my eye on this, on the lap times and the positions at the moment, and actually it does look like Tristan Koch has also gained the most positions so far, and also Scott Rankin has gained a position, so let's hope that he can get himself up into the front shortly, and just make sure he doesn't waste his tyres so he can get up and give Justin a run for his money.
Yeah, well, Justin's just sacrificed some position, dropped right back. So Justin Witcher has obviously recognised something early, and he's playing fuel strategy here. He's dropping back into the pack. He goes, I don't want to lead from the front. And he keeps going down low. So Justin Witcher's going to go right to the back of the pack here. So he's playing a strategy game. This is very interesting by your championship leader of Justin Witcher. He doesn't really have to do anything stupid tonight to be able to gain the position. He pretty much gain the championship. He pretty much just needs to finish. But Justin Witcher, being the racer he is, very weird to see him trying to go backwards. But there's a long way to go. Justin Witcher there. See, he's just going down there on the bottom as well, just trying to let people pass. So interesting strategy by Justin Witcher. He's playing the championship strategy, I'd suggest, as opposed to the race win strategy. I don't know whether I'd do that coming in with a 25-odd point advantage where you're pretty much going to win it. I'd want to go and try and take my championship out with a W, but there's a long way to go. It's only 3 into 160. I'm just a foolish commentator. What would I know? So, Brian, what do you take of Justin Witcher just sacrificing that, moving his car back in the pack early in this one?
Yeah, he's definitely making a big strategy call here, and it could work out very well for him. It is something we don't really see often when a driver is falling back into the pack purposely. But, yeah, I think this will work out really well for him.
Well, I bet you Scotty Rankin's thinking all his Christmases are coming at once, thinking, what's happened to Witcher? Has he hit the wall? But, Scott, if you are watching in the background, no, he hasn't, mate. He's dropped back with your own. Scott Rankin's only 2 positions up the road. He's, like I said, pretty bad qualifying there by Scott Rankin standards. Long way to go there by Scotty Rankin. Looking forward to see how Scott Rankin goes in the IndyCar series tomorrow night for the Global iRacing Leagues. Scott Rankin does love the IndyCars, so looking forward to him jumping in and having a run on that. But while we touch on that, it's settled down. We've got Raymond Yeager still leading the way. We're not going to get too excited too early. Pete Madsen still in 2nd position. Then it'll be Gary Wellman, Kate Donnelly with the Simboys 3 and 4. Sean Hart there. The ever-consistent Sean Hart. A couple of unfortunate races for Sean this season, but he's always been there or thereabouts and in contention for a win. So can Sean Hart get that job done tonight? Tristan Koch, my old teammate, up in 6th spot in the Oreo entry. Really good to see Tristan having a nice solid run as he's going to try and make a move on Sean Hart down into turn number 3 this time. Not quite close enough that time through. So he doesn't get, you can see him just in behind Sean Hart as that's Cade Donnelly we're on board with. So Sean Hart's right behind Cade Donnelly and then Tristan Koch. But Ryan, we settle down now. We'll let the guys get into it and just let the viewers enjoy all the action. Well, these guys just play a little bit of tic-tac-toe early. Mate, we go into the first round of the Global iRacing League's IndyCar series tomorrow night. And you love your IndyCars, mate. You're last season you come 2nd in the championship, which was really, really good. Bet you're looking forward to round number 1 around the Detroit Belle Isle tomorrow night. But I tell you what, you're going to have some tough competition to try and take it to the next level and get that P1 this season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just got to adapt my driving to suit well with road courses because I've usually done only ovals. But I'm going to spend a lot of tomorrow practicing, doing laps, and a nice solid result tomorrow will definitely be worth. But yeah, I am hoping that I can keep my consistency and keep my top 5s up like I was in the last season, and I should have a chance at the championship if I am lucky.
Well, you got a couple of teammates who'll have something to say about that, mate. And me being one of them, I might have something to say about it. I'm not sure whether I will because you're always quick, but I'll definitely have something to say about it. Probably more verbally than in a driving sense, mate, because you'll probably be 40 seconds down the road. But we do go into round number 1 tomorrow night, which will be good. But for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, but if anyone is looking at doing some IndyCar stuff, some NASCAR stuff, or even Supercar stuff on the road, jump across to the Global iRacing Leagues and send your application through, because we have some of the best sim races in Australia, New Zealand and America racing over there. So you want to get amongst it, jump across there. But also, like I said, we are here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries. If you want to be amongst some amazing oval races in the Supercars, where Supercars, Paul, I'll bring you into this. Supercars are generally not built for the ovals, but I tell you what, they bring out some sensational racing, especially here for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries.
Certainly do, and iRacing actually made some base oval setups for these cars as well, as during the COVID times that the V8 supercar drivers couldn't take to the track. They jumped in the supercars and were doing some oval racing themselves.
Yeah, and it's a car that you don't really see around ovals, but they're very adaptable. I've done a bit of work in them, as you have, around the ovals, and I can't say they're the easiest car to drive around ovals because of the way that the tyre wear works, the way that the roll, the centre of gravity works in the supercar. But from a strategy point of view, they take a lot of thinking. It's not just pinning it and getting the draft. They do take a lot of thinking to be able to get the car quick and at the front, because you're seeing now Raymond Yeager, he's just getting back into the pack at the moment as Kate Donnelly takes the lead. But what we're seeing now, 9 laps into 160, a long way to go. Hope you all got your popcorn. I know Kylie's got her pizza, and Ryan, I hope that you've got your pizza too, mate. I hope your mum's sharing you some pizza tonight, because I had the most amazing dinner tonight, so I don't need pizza. But as Tristan Koch wants to make his way up to the front now too, in second position. But yeah, Paul, they're not really the easiest car to drive around an oval. They look easy, but race management can be very tricky.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, as you touched on the point of popping tyres around there in the first race, and we actually seen at a couple of other tracks as well that a few guys had blown tyres as well. So a little bit of strategy, obviously, behind the driving and the league as well, to make drivers think about what they're doing, how hard they're actually racing, to conserve those tyres and make sure they get every last % out of those tyres in their stint without blowing the tyres off the car before they need to take the next set.
I'll tell you who's not in conservation mode at the moment, Ryan and Paul, is Tristan Koch. He's taken the lead over Sean Hart. So he wants to lead this motor race 11 laps into 160. The Oreo entry there of Tristan Koch at 550. He wants to lead this one. So he's moved up to the point. Pete Matson still just sitting there in the background in third. But we have seen Raymond Yeager. He's dropped right back to 12th now. So strategy game 101 being played. Oh, Ian Class in the fence. So Ian Class in the fence. We'll go to a replay there. It hasn't brought out a caution, but that's probably night over for Ian Class there in the 80. We'll go back to that instant replay in that Winfield car coming out. Oh, so he's trying to enter pit lane, and he's just got way hard on the brakes. That rear brake bias just... Yeah, so looks like he already had damage. He was trying to come into pit lane to serve that and get that damage done, and just couldn't get it pulled up, and he's now got into pit lane, so hopefully he can serve that, get that damage done and get back out into the race and keep going. So that'll put us back to 17 cars, so we'll see. He's currently gone a lap down, but it still is Tristan Koch in the lead of the race over Sean Hart, Pete Matson, Kate Donnelly back to fourth at the moment, Gary Wellman up into fifth. Ruben Phelps has made a couple of moves. He's up into sixth position at the moment as well. So Ruben Phelps, after a nice slow start, he's slowly making his way up into contention. We're only 12 into 160. It's really hard not to get too excited, because 12 into 160, we've still got another couple of hours of racing ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on Peter Matson here, who's been sitting in the second in third position for the last few laps, and I feel like if he does stay consistently in the second position, he will most likely be in contention to win.
And as you say that, mate, he goes, Ryan, no, I'm not staying second. I'm going to the point. So Pete Matson just made the move around the outside of Tristan Koch for the lead of the motor race. So you just said he'd be happy to sit there in second and try and save the field. These guys at the front are not thinking strategy at the moment. Tristan Koch just looking down the inside, down the back straight, and Sean Hart there in third position. So these guys aren't thinking strategy at the moment. They're wanting to lead the motor race and try and get out as much gap over the people that are thinking strategy at the back. But we're not in the car at the moment. We will go and talk to a couple of drivers through the race while they are live racing, so we can hear what it's like from the driver. Well, they're in the cockpit, but for now, Tristan Koch going right down to the inside, down the main straight at the Brickyard, and he's not going to get the job done, but he's going to sacrifice the position here to Sean Hart for around the outside as Sean gets a bigger run into turn number 1 and 2. Kate Donnelly ranges up on the back in 4th. Gary Wellman in 5th. Ruben Phelps, the ever-consistent Ruben Phelps. Look out for him, Phelpsy, in 6th position. But Scotty Rankin, your championship contender, he's in 7th. You can see him just in behind Ruben Phelps. Let's jump on board with Scott Rankin for a couple of laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round 11, the final round and the deciding round of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Turn up your volume, have a listen to what it's like on board with Scott Rankin, the number 15, here for the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of laps on board with Scotty Rankin in the 15. How good was that, Ryan? A couple of laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What I noticed there, which is very, very relevant, is they're all in fuel save mode. Scott Rankin definitely in fuel save mode there in the 7th position in the 15.
Yeah, he's just sitting there in the 7th position, and yeah, they're just looking after their fuel and their tyres, and just trying to stretch out their tyres as long as they can, and yeah, we'll see how that works out. Scotty is in P7 and Justin's in P14, so that is a pretty significant point gap, so we'll see what happens later in the race, and yeah.
Well, I can pretty much guarantee you, Ryan, with bar anything going drastically wrong with the amount of drivers entered into this tonight. And a little bit disappointing to only see 18 drivers here for the final round of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries for what is the Indy 400. But I can pretty much guarantee you that Justin Witcher will walk away with his second championship, because I don't think Scott Rankin could finish it tonight in first position and Justin Witcher could finish last, and I don't think there's enough points there to be able to be gained by Scott Rankin. So it's pretty much a Justin Witcher show for the championship. That's probably why he's just sitting back there in the field at the moment. But it's good to see people tuning in here on the Indy Esports Network. Brad Addison having a chat with Phil Otto. Good evening to you, Phil. Looking forward to ANSCAR this year, mate. Can't wait to see the number 1 DPR out there on track, DPR entry out there on track, cutting some laps. I'll be out there. I won't say cutting some laps, I'll be circulating. Not sure how successfully. Paul will be out there too, running around. So thanks for tuning in here on the Indy Esports Network. Of course, you, Brad, always tuning in, mate. Always a good follower. Good mate, so thanks for tuning in. But Ryan, I gave you one job here tonight, and the most important job actually on the Indy Esports Network. For everyone that follows us here on the Indy Esports Network, across everything we broadcast, whether it be the Australasian SUPERCARS eSeries, the MSR TCR League, we used to do the Blendline TV Pro Car GTE Championship, it's our useless trivia. So Ryan, have you got some trivia ready for the viewers tonight? Or have I just thrown you under the bus and you're not ready?
yeah, but I'm pretty sure I can find some trivia here for us to do.
We'll get some trivia. You just commentate for a second. I'll make sure we get some trivia. So we will do that. But anyway, it is Tristan Koch leading the way. Tell you what though, Ryan, Tristan's happy to lead at the front of this one. We saw a lot of conservation. He's getting a little bit of gap over Pete Matson at the moment, as you'll see the draft really play a key down the back straight. But he's happy to lead this race. So yeah, Tristan Koch not thinking about race strategy in terms of fuel saving at this early point.
Yeah, Tristan's not afraid to use up some more tyres and fuel. Just hopefully he doesn't use too much to the point where he does get disadvantaged and pop a tyre. Tristan knows what he's doing, and yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens. And yeah, these drivers will be making sure that they can get to the last 20 laps of the race, and then from there they'll race hard to the end.
Yeah, most definitely. Just trying to bring up those championship. What am I needing? I'm needed. Where am I needed? Oh, Jesus Christ. Throwing me under the bus. Doing it on purpose. I said stir me up. Yeah, I said stir me up. That's stirring me up. Stirring me up big time. Look, see, there is still hope for me, as Tristan Koch says on the back of his wing there. But now I'm trying to concentrate on giving you the answer of this question, or trying to give a question, and now I'm just completely thrown out. So, yeah, Ryan, save me. Can you please do a question for me?
Yeah, okay, so Indianapolis Motor Speedway is located in Indiana, obviously. But how much capacity can the grandstands hold?
How much capacity? We've had this question.
You're not supposed to do an Aiden question here, okay? No. We bring you in, and you're not supposed to do an Aiden question.
Mate, if you want to be the best, you've got to copy the best, right? So there's a bit of modesty. But I think we had this question last year, didn't we, Paul? But because I'm simple, and even when I had the questions given to me previously, I still got them wrong, so I've forgotten. But, mate, I'm commentating tonight, so Paul concentrating on the cameras as Tristan Koch still leads the way over Pete Matson, Sean Hart, Kay Donnelly and Gary Wellman, your 5. You can be the first one. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a question for you, by the way. So what is the grandstand capacity of Indianapolis Motor Speedway? It's a 160-lap race. We're only 23 into 160. Keep us entertained here. And... sorry, I'm just looking at a comment again. How can I commentate when I have people completely just giving me crap? But anyway, we're still going. So, ladies and gentlemen tuning in, let me know what the track or grandstand capacity is. But Paul, you're first man in. What is the track capacity of Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Well, I always get these questions wrong, and that's why I don't like them. And I'm pretty sure I got it wrong last time as well. And it's been 11 rounds, and I can't remember now. So I think we're around about the 180,000 to 200,000 mark.
200,000, you said?
180 to 200. I put a figure in there.
Mate.
No,
we've had this argument before. We've had this argument before, just like when we were talking about the track bloody... what was it? The logo of a track or something about palm trees or whatever. But you've got to be more specific, mate. You threw me under the bus. Come on. Now's where you get your money's worth. More specific. I need a number, not a between.
All right, hang on a sec. Let's change this up a little bit here. You do a between.
Are you changing Ryan's question?
No, I'm just changing our friendly competition here. So same question.
Googling, okay.
What's your around figure, give or take 20 each? So I went 180 to 200. So you give me a figure within 20.
Are we talking about Ryan? Ryan's giving you the question.
No.
Figure?
You. So give us a range of 20,000.
I'm gonna go 200 to 220.
All right, and how about you, Paul?
So I'll stick to my 180 to 200. So we'll let everyone else drop in a few comments as well with a 20,000 range, and then we'll see who goes closest here.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are tuning in, we can see you're tuning in. What is your guess? What is the capacity around Indianapolis Motor Speedway? The seat capacity, as Brad, Allison, and Emily have some words exchanged in the chat. So, what is the track, the seat capacity? Let us know. Paul's gone from 180 to 200,000. Give or take 20,000 because he's just like that. I've gone 200 to 220 because I'm just like that too. Ryan can't because he knows the answer. And let us know, Kylie, if you're tuning in. Anyone, Margaret, down there at Tiona Holiday Parks, you're tuning in. Let us know what your guess is. Brad, of course, let us know. Steve Hoppert, anyone tuning in, Phil Otto, let us know, because you get absolutely nothing for getting the answer right. So what a better time to tune in and let us know what the answer is. So Tristan Koch still leading the way though there, Ryan, as we're back to the motor race over Pete Matson, Scott Rankin, Sean Hart, and Kate Donnelly at 5. Tristan Koch really happy to lead this one, 27 now, or starting the 27th lap into 160. Surprised to see Tristan Koch running so hard so early. Andy Barber, the big Andy, he's jumped in after a Bathurst 1000. He's actually gone really precise. So Andy Barber's on Google, 100% he's on Google. No one, the whiz Andy Barber is. He said 235,000. So Ryan, can you confirm to me that your dad is not on Google at the moment?
I can confirm he's not on Google. However, he is... Actually, hang on. Dave in the chat here has actually put in 250,000, which is actually the closest.
Dave Trevethan, he's jumped in and he's done the 20,000 gap in between as well. So he's gone down your track there, Paul. He's given the 20,000 gap. I suppose that's fair enough too.
Well,
so Dave Trevethan, 250,000 to 270,000. And Ryan's just said he's the closest, so I think we are shit out of luck.
Well, I was going to say, even though I did a Bathurst 1000 with Andy today, then he didn't answer the question correctly, so we're going to have to scrub his answer anyway.
I was going to anyway, just because it's Andy Barber. It didn't matter if he got it wrong. Got it right. It's just null and void. Just gone. See you, Andy. No, but in all seriousness, 235,000 from Andy. Okay, so Ian Glass, had connection issues, unfortunate there from Ian. But, all right, so we've got a couple of people let us know what the answer is. Sorry, we're going to bring you a lot of trivia tonight. We're going to talk to drivers. It is a long race. It is a lot of stuff to bring to you here on the IndySim Esports Network. Brad Allison just goes, it doesn't matter how many it holds. It has not been a capacity for years, which is the truth and a shame. Yeah, that's true, and COVID's probably done that as well too, Brad. So, but it does matter for the sake of the IndySim Esports Network trivia quiz, which is the most important part of your Sunday night, Brad. So, how many's it hold? Todd Maxfield's come in 280,000 to 300,000 from Todd Maxfield. So we're getting close. I think Todd Maxfield and Dave Trevethan are the closest so far as Pete Matson takes the lead of the motor race. Scott Rankin now moving up into second. Tristan Koch probably feeling a little bit of that front tyre wear running so hard so early, just dropping back into third, allowing Sean Hart and Ruben Phelps to range up on the back as Scotty Rankin, your championship antagonist or contender, he's there in the first position. He's just taken the lead of the motor race. But, Brian, you can't leave us hanging. What is the grandstand capacity at Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
I won't count the hundreds, but there's 257,000 plus seats available at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
So, the winner of the first trivia tonight is Dave Trevethan. 250 to 270,000, he said. So, Dave, you'll have a free postage envelope of nothing coming to your address for getting that one right here on the Indus Esports Network. But you get to take home tonight as Tristan Koch now blinks and goes into pit lane. But you get to take home tonight bragging rights or the first trivia question tonight. So thanks for tuning in. Todd Maxfield said, sorry I missed the last round, guys, but holidaying on the Murray. Todd, don't apologise for that, mate. Holidaying on the Murray River. Can't complain about that, mate. That'd be great. But Tristan Koch come into pit lane there on lap 30. He's the first one to blink and come through pit lane, and that's given Scotty Rankin a nice little bit of a gap over Pete Matson and Ruben Phelps there in second and third.
Yeah, well, Tristan's the first person that has came through the pit lane so far, and I expect the rest of the field to come in also. We just keep in mind that there will be some double stinting and strategy calls to make the tyres last as long as they can. And Scott Rankin's pulled nearly a 2-second gap from Ruben Phelps behind, so that's wild.
Yeah, and Scott Rankin, he's just trying to put the foot down now by the looks of it. He's saving the fuel up in behind them. That's why he can go a little bit further in this fuel stint. Tristan Koch was the first one. He was the navigator. So that's why Scott Rankin's now going on, putting the foot down and trying to see what gap he can make but when he goes into pit lane. So we'll see. We're going to see the likes of Scott Rankin, Ruben Phelps, Sean Hart, Pete Matson, Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman, Greg Spencer now up into the 7th position, Adam Malone 8th, Christopher Finlay and Aaron Dillon your 10th. Those drivers will be making their way down pit lane pretty shortly. Keep an eye on the Pinnacle Esports guys of Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher in 12th and 13th. They're playing the fuel game at the moment. They have the pleasure of being the admins of the league. They knew what they were coming in here. So Pete Matson's just come into pit lane as well. So he's going to serve his first pit stop of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCARs eSeries Indy 400 here on the Indus Esports Network, as that's Ruben Phelps there with Sean Hart all over the back of him. But that gap now at the front's now extended to 4.3, 4.4 seconds. It's going out and out and out. Scotty Rankin's put the jandle down and he's out at the front of this motor race.
And remember that Scotty Rankin was also saving fuel early on as well in that pack. So with him being able to pull that gap of 5 seconds and also jump this pack, get that breakaway with saving fuel, he's going to be sitting pretty good when he comes to his pit stop, which is right now actually.
Yeah, Scott Rankin now jumps in. So he did 2 or 3 laps just as quick as he can to try and get that little bit of a break. So Ruben Phelps, everyone's come in. Sean Hart's come in, Cade Donnelly, Greg Spencer, Aaron Dillon, Raymond Yeager, Nigel Payton. So I tell you what, Scott Rankin in a good position at the moment. Tristan Koch might do a little bit of an undercut here. Ruben Phelps stays out an extra lap, as does Adam Malone, Jamie Nankervis, and Nicholas Walsh, if you don't mind, up 11 positions off his 15th starting position. So where's this going to put Tristan Koch when it comes out, when Scotty Rankin comes out as well? Because he'll have the undercut on tyres, but it's going to hurt him in the back end. We'll see how that happens. Ruben Phelps, as we're on board with now, though, still leading the way. There's only 4 drivers left to do their first pit stop of tonight. That is your first 4 contenders at the moment: Ruben Phelps, Adam Malone, Jamie Nankervis, and Nicholas Walsh. Let's go on board with Tristan Koch at the moment and see where he comes out. in comparison to Scott Rankin. So on board with Tristan Koch at the moment, and I can see the YouTube comments as well saying, will I check telemetry at the end of this race? I can say no, because it's not Global iRacing League, so good comment, well done. But we're still going here for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Not sure who said that comment, but no, we won't be, because it's not my league. So there you go. But anyway, back at the race, Tristan Koch currently sitting in the, if I can see him, he's in the 16th position. So Scott Rankin has completely jumped the field, nearly 4 seconds now. So Scott Rankin with a really good pit strategy there, Paul and Ryan.
Yeah, that 5 second gap he had when he came into pit lane is now blowing out even bigger. So that's now 6 seconds on Ruben Phelps, and it's definitely going to come out a lot more as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of hard work for Justin to be able to catch up to Scott. There is a 4.4. There's a pretty big gap from Justin Witcher to Scott Rankin, but just depends how high Justin can get in the field to see if to cover Scott Rankin's points.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, Ryan, I think the points are a null and void chat at the moment. I think he's got this one done.
Yeah.
But Scott Rankin, 7.5 seconds up the road from Adam Malone, the Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. He's made his way up into second position now. So he come through pit lane on lap 34, 1 lap after Scott Rankin. So he's better on tyres. Well, if he's taken tyres, it's a 160 lap race and they only got 2 in the bag. So I'd suggest that a lot of these guys are double stinting. He was through pit lane 34.1 seconds as opposed to Scott Rankin at 34.6. So Adam Malone up into the second position there in the Tiona Holiday Parks back Southern Stars Esports Racing entry, closely followed by Pete Masson, Ruben Phelps and Sean Hart. Brad Ellison, I know, mate, the most important part of your night is the IndySim Esports Network trivia, and I'm going to throw this out to you tonight, mate. You can do the next question. Put it on our Facebook or YouTube chat. Let us know the next question. Give us a trivia question, and we'll be sure to give it to all the viewers here on the IndySim Esports Network. We'll throw you under the bus, Brad. Paul does it to me weekly. Now Ryan's into the broadcast booth. He'll be sure to do it to me too very shortly. So, Brad Ellison, you've got the next question. But it is still Scott Rankin leading the way. Adam Malone, he leads this angry pack at the moment in the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th. You can see them all in behind at the moment. Just status quo. It's fuel save 101 at the moment. But Scott Rankin saying, I'm not in fuel save mode, guys. I've done that early. I'm going to set the pace at the front. And he's definitely doing that. Last lap around, 0.6 of a second quicker. 0.6 of a second quicker than the rest of the field. Let's take the opportunity to have a chat to Scott Rankin up here in the broadcast booth. Well, he is in the hot seat. Scotty Rankin, Schultze and Ryan up in the broadcast booth, mate. You said it was okay for us to jump up and have a chat with you. Leading the way, clean set of heels, 8 seconds up the road from the rest of the field at the moment. Saved a bit of fuel early, but you're putting the hammer down now. How's the car feeling?
Yeah, the car's feeling actually really, really good. I'm right where I want to be in terms of tyre wear. There'll be no fall off in this fuel stint. What I've done is I gave myself an extra lap worth of fuel, which is 5 or 10 laps worth of pushing. If you have a look, I've tracked my way through the pack, so I've hit top 3, 5 laps before I want to go. Then I get there, bit of a chat to my teammate Peter Matson. I said, Matto, I just want to lead a lap. And then he just didn't want to push me. And there's been a little bit of breakup right up and down the field. I saw an opportunity to go, and well, we don't get a caution. I just said to Matto, I think I've got this from here on out.
Well, it's very early doors to be calling that one 39 into 160, but I love the confidence, mate. You've got definitely a lot of pace, and last time around you just pulled another 0.6 of a second off Adam Malone who's in second place. You got 8.3 seconds up the road. We did see Justin Witcher, your championship contender. He's leading the championship. Probably, with the amount of drivers that entered tonight, probably not enough to try and be able to get that first place off Justin Witcher regardless tonight. But you're putting yourself in a good position anyway to try and get as close to him. We did see Justin Witcher and Raymond Jaeger early on in that stint really drop right back into the pack, and they went into fuel save mode straight away.
Yeah, look, they had a plan, and if you keep an eye on Cade and Gary Wellman, both of those guys, the Sim Boys, were working together as well. So there's plans going on up and down the field. And as soon as I saw those guys start to drift back, I actually moved a couple places forward. I was like, all right, I just want to go in the opposite direction. I want to make it hard for these guys to track me, because right now it's such a tight fight between myself. Raymond Jaeger's 2 points back from me for second position in the championship, and then I think Gary's for another 5 down on me. So that's three down from Raymond, 5 total down. So it's a pretty hot, tight fight for P2 in the championship, and that's what my target is tonight. I've said Justin's got it. He's done too much. Really, really well done to him. But yeah, the target's to go out there and get P2. The other thing is here, I'm going for most laps led. That's another bonus point. That's another mark in my book. That's a big favour here. And I tell you what, that pack is still not organising, boys.
No, they're not, mate. You're still slowly gaining on or extending that lead out at the front. But Ryan, up in the broadcast booth, mate, first time you have a little bit of a chat to Scott. I'm sure he won't mind. Anything you want to have a chat to Scott about while he's going around Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the lead of round 11, the final round of the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries?
Hey Scott, just want to question, how do you feel about the tyre wear during the race, and do you think you can make it well enough from both sets?
Yeah, look, it's always a big ask. But the tail end of last season here at Indy, we actually saw, I think, about 5 cars run out of sets of tyres, and they had meatball flags. They didn't finish the race. So, I mean, a lot of learning and whatnot to go from there. So, definitely was aware of that. Tyres will be a huge factor tonight. It's going to be tight. I honest to God cannot tell you whether or not I'm okay. I think I'm okay, but I can't say, 100%. It's sort of like a 90. Look, I'm probably even less confident than that, probably 85.
Okay, so we've got an 85% confidence level there, Ryan. So we might still see a little bit of an issue with Scotty Reagan as the race pans out, but at the moment he's nearly got that gap out to 10 seconds. So you're nearly a third of a lap in front of the rest of the drivers, Scotty. But, mate, we'll let you go back up and concentrate and see where you put this 15 car at the end of this motor race. We're 42 into 160, but we thank you for allowing us to have a chat to you here on the IndySim Esports Network while you're live in the car.
Mate, it's an absolute pleasure, and I tell you what, it's 10 times easier talking to you from this far out in front than it is in the middle of the pack.
Most definitely, mate. No worries. Best of luck, and hopefully we're chatting to you at the end.
Thanks, boys. Have a good night, eh?
Yeah, Scotty's definitely putting the pace, setting the pace on the track at the moment, and it was really interesting talking to him just then.
Yeah, it's good.
I have my eye out on Adam Malone, my teammate. He's looking really good for a good result, and Sean Hart and Peter Matson are both looking really nice at the moment.
Well, it's pretty much anyone's in this angry pack at the moment as we're on board with Aaron Dillon there, watching him in the 8th position. This angry pack from the 2nd position all the way down to the 13th position. It's anyone's in relation to this as the race does pan out. Scott Rankin has extended that gap in the front to 10 seconds. Is that too hard, too early? It's not going to help him on fuel here in this second run. So, ladies and gentlemen, just keep tuned in here, because Scott Rankin at the front, you might see him at the moment extending that gap out to 10 seconds on this battle pack for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. But these guys are going to be saving a little bit of fuel in that draft. Scott Rankin does not have that pleasure. So the undercut or the difference undercut and difference of pit strategy here as Pete Matson gets very close to Aaron Dillon there through turn number 2 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But it's definitely going to play a difference on pit strategy when we go into the next green flag runs. Adam Malone and Sean Hart have made a little bit of bolt in the 2nd and 3rd position ahead of this pack here, led by Pete Matson, Christopher Finlay in there as well. We haven't spoken about Christopher Finlay tonight there, gents. 8th position. Haven't spoken about him a lot, but he come off the win last week for round number 10, so he's coming into this round with a lot of confidence.
Scotty did have a point there while we were interviewing him just then. Around 5 cars did get the meatball last season, so anything can really happen. We're only 45 laps out of 160, so yep.
All right, so we got the battle in the mid-pack, but the most important thing of the night, as per always, the IndySim Esports Network trivia. Brad Allison's given us the question, boys. Are you ready to hear the question from Mr. Bradley J. Allison? So, his question is, who won the 1995 Brickyard 500 and how many NASCAR wins did he record? So it's a double question.
Ooh. Well, I don't think I can answer that because I'm a bit of a young fella. I don't really know.
You got to guess.
Well, it does say he was a NASCAR driver, so why don't I just say Dale Earnhardt?
Okay, and how many, what was the second question? How many NASCAR wins?
I'd say 30. Not too sure.
30. Okay, so we've got Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Yep.
as the 1995 Brickyard 500 winner as yours, and you reckon he's got 30 NASCAR wins?
Yeah, altogether, not at the specific track.
No, altogether, that was the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Paul, you go. I was going to go, but you go.
Oh, of course you're going to throw me under the bus, but I think we might actually need to get Brad to clarify. Is it how many wins he's recorded ever, or how many wins he recorded at Brickyard 500? Because that could stump the question there a bit.
Well, I'm a big fan of Dale Earnhardt and Earnhardt Jr. So I know the answer for the overall wins, and I know the answer for 95. I can guarantee you it was Dale Earnhardt. But it's whether the question was, and there we go, Emma's just gone, yep, she's Googled it. So I actually know the answer though. It is 76 Winston Cup wins for Dale Earnhardt, but at Indianapolis I'm not quite sure. So, well, actually I'm saying it's that. How about, Brad, you clarify your question before we go and try and answer it. So I think we've gone that Dale Earnhardt was the winner of the 1995 Brickyard 500, but is it how many wins overall for Earnhardt, or is it how many at the Brickyard for Earnhardt? So very good question there, Paul, as we're on board there. Kate Donnelly in second place over Gary Wellman. That gap's now gone out to 11.5 seconds of the lead of this motor race. Scotty Rankin leading the way. So he continues to extend that gap at the front as this has now become a 4-car battle, and they've made a big gap off to Raymond Yeager there in 6th spot. So we've got Aaron Dillon's decided to come into pit lane as well. So a little bit off skilter there from Aaron Dillon, 49 into 160. So Aaron Dillon into pit lane. Not sure why he's in pit lane at the moment. They last come, they're getting about 33 to 34 laps out of a tank of fuel. So we're only 50 laps this time around in. So Aaron Dillon a little bit off strategy at the moment. He might have had a little bit of damage there collecting the wall, maybe why he's come into Spencer. It's a Pinnacle Esports battle at the moment here. They're all working together. This is the battle for 10th, 11th position. Justin Witcher and Greg Spencer. They got Jamie Nankervis just in behind this battle as well. So really interesting battle here. Jamie Nankervis with a little bit of a different livery to what he is usually running. He's got the EFT on the front as he usually does, but a little bit of a different livery there by Jamie Nankervis in his Ford. He's doing a good job. He's down 3 positions on his starting position, started out of P number 12, but he'll be there or thereabouts. Jamie Nankervis is one of the men here in the Australasian Supercar eSeries, which is due for a really good result, because he's always there or thereabouts, but doesn't necessarily get the rub of the green. So we'll see whether Jamie Nankervis has anything for the rest of the field tonight as he sits back there in the 12th position, just biding his time, sitting in the draft, making his, he's thinking to himself, we're only 51 to 160, and gents, we're not even a third of the way through this motor race, 51 and 160.
Yeah, Scott Rankin still opening the lead ahead of Kay Donnelly. That at the moment it's getting close to it's getting close to 12 seconds worth of gap. So it does look like the gap is slowing down a bit. He's not gaining as much as before. That could be tyre wear, could not be. But I'm very excited to see if his strategy works out, and I just hope he hasn't used too much of his tyres so far.
Well, we're 52 and 160. We've got a lot to bring you. Paul, I'm going to throw you under the bus now. Let's just put the intro video on. Let us have a little bit of a break. We're a third of the way through. We'll put the intro video on, get you a little bit excited about the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Let us have a little bit of a break, a little bit of an intermission, and we'll be back in 3 minutes while you watch the intro video of the Australasian Supercar eSeries.
Welcome to the world of oval racing, where you usually see purpose-built race cars race around tracks at 300 kilometres per hour. This is V8 Supercars, Australia's premier racing category, transformed to race on some of the most famous tracks in the world of motorsport: Daytona, Homestead, Miami and Talladega, just to name a few. The sound of 600 plus horsepower, roaring around ovals at breakneck speed. Door-to-door three-wide action. There are always crashes. And don't forget, get ready for the big one. Where, just like real motorsport, tempers will flare and blood pressure will rise. There can only be one winner, and the rest will be left licking their wounds until next week.
Oh, I just went for a little sprint. Grab some pizza.
So strap yourself in, this is going to be a bumpy
Coming
ride.
over.
This is the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Barber has just had a big entry level into broadcasting when he can hear Paul, and we're doing it. Everyone can hear you, Ryan, when you were just talking while that video was going. So there's a little bit of a baptism of fire on commentary from Ryan Barber, mate. There you go. How's that one?
Whoops, I thought I was muted. I thought no one could hear it.
No, mate, you got to mute yourself. As you can see in my my thing, I was muted. So
Like
there you go. But anyway,
too.
you could hear that Paul, and then we're talking about pizza and stuff. So there you go. But there's the intro video of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and yeah, but it is Scott Rankin leading the way. That's funny, Ryan. That's absolutely making me laugh. But that's a little bit of a entry into the Indy Sports Network, mate. So you can hear Paul talking your ear, but the viewers can't hear him. But everyone can hear you. But there you go. But Scott Rankin leading the way, 12.7 seconds up the road from Gary Wellman, Kay Donnelly, Adam Malone, and Sean Hart. So we're on board with Gary Wellman at the moment. It is a long race, ladies and gentlemen. We will mute ourselves for another 5 minutes. Just enjoy this little battle between Gary Wellman, Kay Donnelly, Adam Malone, and Sean Hart. It's 56 into 160. A long way to go. Just enjoy this little battle, and we'll be back with you very shortly. Yeah, we have gone silent. We just said to the viewers, just enjoy this little battle. It is a long race. It's not a lot happening at the moment, 57 into 160, just allowing the viewers to just watch these cars navigate their way around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So anyone else tuned into the chat, if you do want to have a chat to us, let us know. Of course, we'll let you know all the action coming up. So this is probably the time we'll let you know all the action coming up here on the Sydney Sports Network. So we will be going live on Wednesday night. So we've got round number 11 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries tonight, but we will be going live for the next round number 6, I believe, Paul, of the MSR TCR League on Wednesday night for what will be the final round at Knock Hill. So we're looking forward to bringing you all the action. We will go live from 6:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be situated. So we look forward to that one. Then we'll have a little bit of a break as Australasian Supercar eSeries goes into a couple of week break before we do bring you season number 3. So looking forward to that one. Also jump across to the LR Esports Network if you do want to see the Inside Lane Productions Global iRacing League Supercar Series on a Friday night. LR Esports does bring all the action live on a Friday night. We all support each other's streams. We all support each other's broadcast networks. So if you do want to see some supercars on the road on a Friday night with some of the best, and I mean the best sim racers in Australia and New Zealand, some of those guys that raced on Friday night were absolutely next level. So if you want to see that, jump onto LR Esports on a Friday night and you can see myself and my teammates try and battle it with the best, but we'll see how we go. But it is still Scott Rankin at the lead of the motor race. 11 seconds now up the road from Cade Donnelly. It looks like that Scott Rankin just tapping it off a little bit. Trying to save a little bit more fuel now as that gap is slowly coming down between himself and Gary Wellman. But in saying that, it's not coming down very quick at all. We're talking like a thousandth at a time. Ruben Phelps there in behind Raymond Yeager. Ruben Phelps making his way. He's up into 7th position. He was up into the top 3 or 4 earlier through that pit stop cycle. He's just navigated his way back into 7th position. And Raymond Yeager and Ruben Phelps, they're 6 seconds off the back of Sean Hart in 5th position at the moment. Ryan.
Yeah, I've just also noticed on the timing tower that Peter Matson has fallen back down into 14th place. I'm not sure what happened there, but Scott Rankin is definitely on another level at the moment, and Justin Witch has moved himself up to 8th position, and yeah, it's really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty much the calm before the storm at the moment, Ryan. It's exciting to see on strategy. Us racers, we know what they're going through in the cockpit and what they're thinking about. But from a viewing point of view, it's probably thinking it's a little bit stagnant, but there's a lot to play out yet. 60 into 160. Still 100 laps to go. So if you thought 60 was good, wait for the next 100. Andy Barber's jumped in. Go Ads Malone, send it. He will send it for sure, my friend. He's up there in 4th position. He's in a good position with his fuel strat at the moment. He's coming off a top 10 today for the Crisscross Racing CXR 1000. So he's done a lot of laps today. He'll be feeling it in the sim. He'll be tired, but he's doing a great job up there in the 4th position for Southern Stars Esports Racing, and the only Southern Stars Esports entry tonight, which is usually 3 or 4 cars running here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Darren McKenzie didn't want to back up tonight. Andy Barber tired after a big night at work last night doing a 1000. Of course, his son in the broadcast booth with me tonight being Ryan Barber, and we don't have to worry about the rest because, we don't have one hand, Tom Pritchard. We've got to worry about him. We don't have one hand tonight. He teamed up with Adam Malone today too, so good job there by one hand, Tom Pritchard. He's not backing up. Also Middleton, Jason Middleton out of the United States. They're not running tonight either. And also the big DJ, Derek Jacobs. He's not running in the Australasian Supercar eSeries tonight. So from what is usually a jam-packed team for the Southern Stars Esports Racing team here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, just the one lone soldier coming out having a run tonight, and I tell you what, he's doing a great job in 4th. But Cade Donnelly from Simboys, he's in third place. Second place, Gary Wellman. No surprise to see those Simboys cars up in second and third place, as that gap has now gone down to 8.3 seconds between Scott Rankin and Gary Wellman in this battle that you can see on screen now. So last time around, they took 0.3 of a second out of Scott Rankin at the front there, Ryan.
Yeah, and it looks like Scott Rankin's just pulled into the pit lane now. So did Peter Matson. I think he's parking it. I'm not too sure. He's a lap down at the moment. Yeah, just want to just quickly say that I'm really proud of the Southern Stars eSports drivers today, Dawn Bathurst, especially Dad, running on an hour's sleep and actually racing for the 6 hours. But yeah, I'm enjoying sitting here and watching the racing. And yeah, just a quick note, I have also done a bit of a calculation, and it looks like these drivers will at least need to get to lap 80 to make it to the end from 2 sets.
Yeah, that's if they're doing a double set at the end. I would well, from what I saw with Scotty Rankin, he was saying he was double stinting there. So Gary Wellman has taken the lead of the motor race. But the interesting part of Scott Rankin comes out on pit lane. They got about 33 laps of fuel out of the tank. Scott Rankin come through pit lane on lap 62. So running by, you can see him there, just coming out of pit lane in the bottom of your screen. He has just probably sacrificed 2 or 3 laps worth of fuel running there by running at the front. So Scott, as we were on board with him early, he thought he had a good strategy, is now come out of pit lane and is lapped down. So that will even itself out when the likes of Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly, Adam Malone, Sean Hart come into pit lane in the lead of this motor race. But these guys are in the box seat at the moment, and I thought that as they come in now. So Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly and Sean Hart come in. Adam Malone decides, I'm going to go one more. So hopefully that doesn't hurt him. That is, you can see Scott Rankin in behind Adam Malone, but Scott Rankin is a lap behind at the moment as these green flag pit stop cycles do make their way through. So we'll see how that plays out. So Adam Malone, Ruben Phelps and Jamie Nankervis are now your top 3. But Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly, Sean Hart, Raymond Yeager, Justin Witcher, Nicholas Walsh in pit lane. But we did see the difference there with Scott Rankin there leading the way there, Ryan, and how much more fuel he used in this supercar with no draft. He might have been quicker, but he sacrificed a couple of laps. Is that going to hurt him if this goes green to the end? Is that going to hurt him in the back end of this race? Time will tell, as we can see Adam Malone coming into pit lane, as is Nigel Payton in front. So Nigel's got damage, so he was at the back of this field. So Adam Malone coming into pit lane. Where's that going to put Adam when he comes out of pit lane? Is he going to lose the draft on the drivers of Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly as they would have come out of pit lane together? But this is Ruben Phelps at the moment. He's taken the lead of the motor race once again through this pit lane cycle. We're now lap number 66 into 160. Your New Zealander, your Kiwi of Ruben Phelps, he's taken the lead. Jamie Nankervis is 5.6 seconds down the road. Now we've got Ruben Phelps coming up on the Simboys cars, back to Scotty Rankin in the 5th position. So Scott Rankin, he comes through pit lane on lap number 62. He's got about a 9-second gap. Still got Ruben Phelps to pit, but this has really hurt Scott Rankin. Well, actually he is. He got a 9-second gap, on Cade Donnelly and Sean Hart. So this hasn't hurt Scott Rankin at the moment as the pit lane cycles do play out. That is your second place battle. They're not showing second at the moment, as you see, who was that on the inside coming out of pit lane? That was one of the Pinnacle Esports guys, probably Nigel Payton. There's Adam Malone coming out of pit lane now. So he's going to make his way out of turn number 2. He's going to be able to get back into the draft and back onto this battle pack. So your Southern Stars Esports Racing entry at number 4, Adam Malone. Good little strategy call there. He hasn't lost the pack, and he's still in contention with this one. But I tell you what, Scott Rankin still 9 seconds up the road. We've still got Jamie Nankervis and Ruben Phelps at the front to pit. and they're currently leading this one. So let's go on board with either Jamie Nankervis or Ruben Phelps and see where they're situated as Ruben Phelps just comes into pit lane there. So Ruben Phelps has come into pit lane out of the lead of this motor race. He has been the best of the fuel antagonists, as Jamie Nankervis is tonight as well. They've been able to get the most out of their fuel runs. So as the race does progress, they are going to be better off into the back end of this race, but being out of that draft, is that going to hurt them? Are they going to work together? So you'll see Scott Rankin take the lead of this motor race once again as Raymond Gayndah and Justin Witcher, I believe it is there. Justin Witcher gets really close to that outside wall through turns number 1 and 2. They're currently sitting in the 8th and 9th position. They're doing a great job just working together, trying to save that fuel. So we will see Scott Rankin take the lead of the motor race as he goes across the strike this time around. So we'll wait and see Cade Donnelly come across the strike. This is what 9 seconds looks like, ladies and gentlemen, if we can get to Cade Donnelly really quickly. There you go. That's what 9 seconds looks like. Nearly a whole corner and a half around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But have a look at this little juicy battle. Sean Hart has got the move done on Adam Malone, and Cade Donnelly is there as well. Gary Wellman sitting there in behind as well. But these Simboys cars are going to want to work together. They're just dropping back off at the moment, but they know that if they sit there and work together, they'll range up onto the back of the battle sooner rather than later. But Paul, I'll let you chime into this one. Has Scott Rankin gone too hard? Do you think he has gone too hard and this is going to hurt him in the back end of the race? I'm not talking necessarily about tyre strategy, because I feel he's got a good car. I feel he's knowing how to drive this car at the moment with his current lap pace. But do you feel fuel drop at the end with the way that now he is probably about 3 or 4 laps off kilter with the rest of the field, and he's going to have to be stationary right at the end of the race a little bit longer than the rest of this field, and he doesn't have a draft? Do you think that's going to play an impact into the result of Scott Rankin tonight?
Well, he's probably looking at another 3 pit stops, and roughly based off how he stopped last time when he had probably about a 12-13 second lead, which I think was starting to drop anyway, down to about 11 seconds. So he's only lost 1 second by running out the front there by himself when he pitted. So if he can maintain that, he's looking pretty good to take the win on this race, I feel.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's all going to be dependent on that final pit stop if he can get into that window. So we're looking at that window, I would suggest, with him, if he was running on his own all the way to the end, we're looking at that window of about lap 128, which would be his last stop to get to the end. So if he can get to that lap 128 and get into pit lane and get out and have that 9-10 second gap that he currently has, he'll be right to get to the end. If he can't get to lap 128, we're only 70, ladies and gentlemen, into 160. If he can't get to that magic number, I'll tell you what, it's anyone's. It's definitely going to change it up. Aaron Dillon tuning in to the IndySim Esports Network, mate. No idea what happened to you tonight. We did not see it. Let us know here on the IndySim Esports Network. We'd like to have a chat to you, because unfortunate night for you, mate. We might actually bring him down into the broadcast booth, eh? Have a chat to Aaron Dillon.
Before we go there, though, I might have to just pull you up on that 128 lap, because I think he'd run out of fuel. He won't make it home if he's stopping at 128.
Didn't they go through at lap 32?
Oh, yeah, 32.
But that was with draft too, so you're probably right. It'd be borderline, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Maybe. Well, he might be able to save a lap.
Well, I say I make a better commentator than racer, so that I'm not actually doing that well either right now. So, but I reckon let's just call the magic number 130, because you could safely get home at 130. So we'll see what happens there. Can he get there? Will it work out with the laps at the moment? I think he's going to have to short fill at some point, but we'll see how that goes. So we'll see. We're going to bring Aaron Dillon up into the broadcast booth. We haven't spoke to the big AD, and we'll bring him up. He's in the broadcast. He's tuned into the broadcast, and he sent some emojis which are a little bit explicit. So we'll bring him up into the broadcast booth and have a chat with him. Aaron Dillon, mate, the 013. Mate, you've tuned into the broadcast and put some emojis that we can't really say what they're meant for because this is PG rated. Not the night you wanted, mate, in the 013 Simboy entry. What happened?
No, I think it was about lap 49.50. We decided we'd start pushing, go, close the gap a little bit. And, yeah, I think I was just fighting with Peter to get past him, and we just tapped each other and I hit the wall and, meatball night over.
So, meatball, mate, too much damage to continue. Couldn't sit there for a little while. We'll try and go to the replay as we're live. If you are watching the broadcast here, Aaron, we'll go to the replay. We'll go back to see what happened with the 013 of Aaron Dillon, who we've got in chat with us at the moment as they make their way down into turns number 3 and 4. So you can see Aaron Dillon is the inside car there. He's got Pete Matson on the outside. He's actually Christopher Finlay in behind him as well, so his teammate. So it must happen this next lap. So 47. So you can see Pete Matson getting a run down the inside of Christopher Finlay and Aaron Dillon in turn number 1 and 2 this time. So this is a replay of the battle as we have Aaron Dillon. Oh, there's massive net code there, Aaron. So if you're watching the broadcast, mate, go watch that back. There is massive net code between you and Pete Matson. There was about 2 foot of room between you on the outside and Pete Matson that just spat you into the outside ball.
Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, it's sim racing, I suppose. But yeah, I think it was like 8-9 minutes worth of damage, so it's just no point.
Well, mate, good to get you up into the broadcast booth, mate. We've spoken to you a couple of times, being a winner here, previous champion for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. It wasn't branded that at that time, but you have been a previous champion. Sim Boys guys are always a big supporter of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Unfortunately, you don't have one of your drivers in contention for the championship this year. We thought it would have been the likes of Gary Wellman, yourself, or maybe Kate Donnelly after the start of the season. But, mate, we go into season 3 in a couple of weeks, and we will be bringing you all the action here on the IndySim Esports Network, although Paul will be racing. So, mate, you have to put your big yellow signs on your car to let Paul know that you're there, mate, because Paul's going to be back in the driver's seat for season 3. What do you think about that?
It'll be good. Good to get extra drivers in. We'll have a full contingent, 7 drivers hopefully for the whole season. Got a couple of sponsors now, so yeah, it's going to be good.
I did see the updated paints again on those Sim Boys cars with some sponsor logos on the cars there, and just got to say that I'll have my elbows out even wider than I did in the legacy cars, so just watch out.
It should be good racing there, Paul. Can't wait to race against you again.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
And a shout out to our new sponsors, Hot Toddies who do installations, and United Electrical.
Awesome, mate. You're more than welcome to shout out your sponsors here on the IndySim Esports Network. So go your hardest, mate. That's what it's about. Give those sponsors a little bit of airtime. It's good to have a lot of people sponsoring these guys, and jump on and support Hot Toddies, as Aaron Dillon just said. Support the people that support the iRacing community and these drivers. Without them getting the support and you engaging their services, they're not able to support the drivers, and which in turn are not able to turn out and to be able to give you the amazing action that we have week in, week out here on the IndySim Esports Network, but also across all the other races and broadcasts that are brought to you across the iRacing server. So, Aaron, sorry I'll not be able to join in on season 3 next season, so you're not able to whip my butt for season 3, but you'll hear me in the broadcast booth. But mate, thank you so much for making yourself available tonight. Unfortunate for your night to end the way it was, but looking forward to seeing you hopefully get that 013 up the point for season number 3.
Cheers, guys, and thanks for the broadcast. Look forward to it every week.
No worries, mate. Have fun. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Dillon in the 013 Sim Boys entry. Unfortunate night for him tonight. Made himself available, even though he'd be kicking himself there in his shed down in Tasmania with the boys. They all sit there and they have fun. They love the Australasian Supercar eSeries, so he won't be happy with that one, but he'll be supporting his mates down there in Tasmania. But Paul, I'll quickly jump into you, Ryan. I'll be back with you in a second. Sim Boys, they've done a lot of expansion. The Hot Toddies guys, the Howes and Maxfields and the like, Todd Maxfield, Justin Howe, looks like they've all joined forces. And Sim Boys has now gone, as you just heard Aaron say, 7-car outfit.
Well, we know what happened to large teams previously under a different organisation, but doesn't matter how many cars you got on the track. It's just more cars for me to beat. So doesn't matter. They can put 20 cars on the grid, and I'll beat them all. Or at least I'll try to. Anyway.
You're not first, you're last.
So there's Paul Modesty Jackson. 101 here in the IndySim eSport. I thought I was the most least modest person on the iRacing server, and you've just absolutely beat me to it. As Justin Witcher is getting a big push by Raymond Yeager. But Ryan, we'll let you jump in. We've talked crap for the last 10 minutes. We haven't let you get a word in edgeways. Get amongst it, mate. It's your turn to talk some crap for the next 10 minutes.
I don't know what crap I can really talk.
There's the throw under the bus again. See, you don't have your macro key set up, mate. You need your macro key set up. What crap can I talk on the IndySim eSports Network?
But I can't really talk crap because you're not in the race. So
Oh, there it is. There it is. Now he fits in. Ryan Barber has now had his initiation here on the IndySim eSports Network, and he's passed it with flying colours. Adam Malone in second position. Sean Hart in third. You're making me laugh. You got to catch me first. We'll see tomorrow night, my friend. But Kane Donnelly in fourth, Gary Wellman in fifth, Justin Witcher in sixth. But in all seriousness, we give each other a lot of crap. But it's all about the drivers here tonight. How are you seeing the race panning out so far? Scott Rankin, well, we've just been gibbering on, has now extended the gap 15 seconds. He's now got half a lap on the rest of the field, and we are halfway through the 160 lap race.
yeah, he's definitely risking his tyres, I feel. If he has not changed his set of tyres at the last stop, he has made it to halfway through the race, as we've just ticked off to lap 81. And Adam Malone also, Southern Stars, is doing really well too, sitting in second there, just ahead of Sean Hart. So I'm looking forward to the last couple laps and.
Well, let's take the opportunity. We've been speaking crap for the last couple of minutes. We're halfway through the 160-lap Indianapolis 400 for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries for what is the final round here on the IndySim eSports Network. We're on board with Adam Malone, but let's jump on board in the cockpit with Sean Hart in the 610, who's chasing down Adam Malone. And let's just have a 5-minute break, do a couple of laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We like to give the love to all the drivers and get them here on the broadcast. So Sean Hart for the next couple of laps around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Turn up those volumes on your TV and enjoy Sean Hart around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, there we go, gentlemen. A couple of laps on board with the 610 Sean Hart, trying to chase down the number 4 of Adam Malone. Cade Donnelly now getting racy in the 4th position, as is Gary Wellman in 5th. So Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman just dropped off the back of this little battle pack for a little while, saving a little bit of that fuel, and now they're making their way back up onto the back of Sean Hart and Adam Malone. So this is 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th on the racetrack as it stands. It still is Scott Rankin down the road, 15 seconds down the road if you don't mind at the moment. Last time across the strike though, these drivers, Adam Malone and Sean Hart on screen, they took 0.3 of a second out of Scott Rankin, but Scott Rankin's just gone across the start-finish line. He's just pulled a 53.46. We'll see what the live timing does as we're on board with Scott Rankin there when Adam Malone comes across the line. We'll see. So 53.31, 53.25, 53.28 for Adam Malone, Sean Hart and Cade Donnelly. So another couple of tenths taken out of your leader as Scott Rankin is up in behind Tristan Koch. Tristan Koch, a race that what could have been tonight. He's 2 laps down. Not sure why he led this one early, but he's 2 laps down, and Scott Rankin's getting a little bit of help there by Tristan Koch. So unfortunate there for Ryan, for Tristan to be back. We're only halfway through the race, or 86 into 160, and Tristan Koch led a lot of the race early doors in this one, and he's now 2 laps down and struggling to hold on to possibly go 3 laps down to your current leader.
Yeah, I'm not sure what really happened there. Doesn't really look like he has any damage. I don't see any scrapes on the car or anything really wrong. So, yeah, maybe later in the broadcast we can talk to him and see what happened there. But, yeah, Scott Rankin's extended the gap to 14 seconds from Adam Malone. So, yeah, they've done 87 out of the 160, so if they are only on their first set of tyres now, they'll definitely be good for the end, I reckon.
Yeah, they'll definitely be good if they ran their first 2 sets through those first 2 stops. They'll definitely be good for the end. Scott Rankin just really using Tristan Koch there. He's not looking to make the pass. He's going, well, I've ran the last 30 or 40 laps without a friend. I'm going to sit there and try and save my fuel. So this is really, really good for Scott Rankin at the moment to be able to try and null and void that off-strategy kilter thing we talked about with fuel. I don't even know the terminology, but he was going to be sacrificed a little bit at the end of the race because running at the front for so long. So he was going to have to be stationary for longer at the end of, or at the last stop, if we did go green to the end, which still we are green 88 into 160. So this is really going to help Scott Rankin moving into the 3/4 to the end of this race. But the gap is slowly dropping another 0.3 of a second. Adam Malone took out of Scott Rankin last time around, so 4 cars work better than 2. 53.28 as you just saw Scott Rankin go across the line to chop up 89 into 160. So 53.29. We'll see what Adam Malone did. Another 0.2 of a second out of the lead of Scott Rankin. So Adam Malone a 53.09. Cade Donnelly a 53.07. 53.08 by Gary Wellman. So that 4-car train of Adam Malone, Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman and Sean Hart working very, very hard to try and slowly chip away at this lead of Scott Rankin. But Adam Malone, the pioneer at the moment, he is using all the fuel at the front of this one in 2nd position. The pioneer trying to drag these guys up to the lead of the motor race, but 13 seconds is a long way to get, but a long way to go in the race as we're 90 into 160.
Yeah, and just having a look at the comment section, and Brad Allison's asking, you may have said laps per tank full, but I missed it. Can you give me what you know, please?
Okay, so laps per tank. So what we're pretty much seeing laps per tank is around about anywhere between the 30 to 32 laps, depending on draft. I'd say 30-31 without a draft. Put it this way, Scott Rankin's been through pit lane twice, and his last pit lane transition was on lap 62. So divide that in half, that's 31. He didn't have any draft for the second one. So you're looking at about 30, 31 laps there, Brad. So that is the magical mark. So you're looking at around about lap 129 at the minimum to be able to make it to the end if you don't have a draft. If you can save some fuel and possibly get to lap 128 to 127 and have a friend, you might be able to make some gains late in this race. So that's what's going to be the magical mark for these drivers. Will they make it to that 130 lap mark? But looking at where they are at the moment, 62, then I go 30 onto that is 92, then I go 30 onto that is 122. So there's an 8 or 9 lap difference at the moment in relation to getting to that magical number. So Ryan's strategy, like I said earlier, it's a little bit status quo, 91 into 160, but this is where strategy is going to play a part, because there is going to be a short fill at some stage. Who's going to be able to make that fill the shortest?
Yeah, it's anyone's game at the moment. They can either run the fuel out as long as much as they can and come into the pit lane, or they could take a chance and come in a bit early in the last stint to get that top up to make it to the end. But yeah, everyone's looking really, really good at the moment, and yeah, they're just going to be preparing themselves and preparing their tyres and their strategy for the last 20 laps of the race, because that's where it matters.
Well, I tell you what, someone that's looking really, really good on strategy. It is the man that is right behind Justin, which we're on board at the moment with, is Ruben Phelps out of New Zealand. He was last down pit lane on lap 67. He's currently in the 7th position, lapping on par, if not just a little bit less than the leaders. That is your championship leader in 6th position, just in front of him. He's got Raymond Yeager up in behind him. So 3 laps better than Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager in regards to pit strategy. So if this keeps going onto the back end, Ruben Phelps is one of these drivers which is going to be stationary shorter right at the back end of this race. So Ruben Phelps, we haven't spoken a lot about him tonight. We've mentioned him on occasions, but he has played fuel strategy game 101. Him and Jamie Nankervis are the only 2 drivers who have come through pit lane on lap 67. The next best is the likes of Kay Donnelly, Wellman, Sean Hart, Witcher, which came through on 64, as Scott Rankin's gone into pit lane, as is Christopher Finlay, Nicholas Walsh, and Aaron Dillon. So there we go, 94 was the magical mark there for those drivers. So if we see it was 65, 62, yeah, so you're looking at around about that 31 lap mark on a tank of fuel, as we saw then. But 32 actually, Scott Rankin got out of it, but he had a good little draft there in behind Tristan Koch. But Adam Malone now takes the lead of the motor races. We're still on board with this little battle between Raymond Yeager, Justin Witcher, and Ruben Phelps. But this is the battle at the moment for 6th, 7th, and 5th, 6th, and 7th. That'll change as they make their way across the strike this time around. We'll wait and see that. So Raymond Yeager just sitting there saving some fuel. We'll have a look at the pit stop time. So Christopher Finlay, Pete Matson with a really short stop. But now we've got Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher coming into pit lane, just leaving Ruben out on his own. That leaves Adam Malone in the lead of the motor race provisionally. He's going to take the lead. You can see Scott Rankin coming out of pit lane. Scott Rankin will go a lap down though, but take no notice of that one, because that'll all work itself out when these guys at the front, go into pit lane. So I'm just trying to look at the live timing where Scott Rankin actually got out nearly on the same lap as these guys. No, I don't think he did. He's 34.58, so we'll wait for live timing. He is a lap down. So as Adam Malone comes into pit lane. So this is decisive. How far is Scott Rankin going to get up the road? He has, who's that in behind him at the moment? That looks like Sean Hart. So he's going to have a little bit of help. He's going to have a little bit of help to be able to get this jump done over Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman. He's definitely going to do that. He was 13 seconds up the road. I don't think Adam Malone had a bad strategy there, getting out of this and getting the pit stop done. We'll see where that puts Adam Malone when he comes out of pit lane. Adam Malone is still stationary, so we'll see. He's currently been stationary for 10 seconds, so he's got probably another 20-something seconds to do through his pit stop. Excuse me, as I try and talk too quickly. So Greg Spencer now in pit lane out of the 7th position as well. So Scotty Rankin's going to take the lead of this motor race once these pit stop cycles happen. But Sean Hart's now come into pit lane as well. So Rankin's absolutely licking his lips there. As you can see him just go through turn number 1. He's got the draft there with the likes of Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman, who's going to have to pit in the next couple of laps. We'll see, but Adam Malone's making his way out. So Scott Rankin doing everything right tonight here, Ryan. He is just come out at the right spot, the right point on the track, and he's using cars that he's going to be fighting for the lead later on in this race. He has absolutely nailed this strategy so far, 97 into 160.
Yeah, I don't really think there's going to be a safety car with how evenly they're spread out and how well they're driving. So this strategy can actually really work well for Scott Rankin, as Sean Hart and Jamie, well, everyone else is really coming in for their pit stop now. So yeah, this is a big strategy call that he's made it early in the race, and it's really paying off now.
Yeah, it is, but what's really interesting, Ruben Phelps, your New Zealand driver, he's still leading the way at the front, as you'll see with Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly just coming in to make their next compulsory pit stop. Scott Rankin will take 2nd position, but Ruben Phelps has now taken the lead of the motor race. He's better on fuel, so his last stop is going to be better. Last time around, he was a 53.13. Scott Rankin was a 54.38. So Ruben Phelps in the 06 finding a little bit of pace through the mid to back end of this race in the 06 entry out of New Zealand. So he's got no one to work with at the moment, but he's been back there saving some fuel. He's 4 laps the better of fuel than anyone else on the circuit at the moment. So he's good to go. He's good to put the foot down. You can see a Pinnacle Esports car in front of him. He'll want to use that car as much as he can. He's got 48.7 seconds on Scott Rankin. He will drop back behind Scott Rankin when he comes into pit lane, but at the moment it is all about how much Ruben can gain on the drivers in front of him to try and battle for what could be a possible podium here for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. So the only driver left to come through pit lane to do their 3rd pit stop is Ruben Phelps, 48.76 seconds in front. He took another 0.4 of a second out of your leader on screen, or your leader when they come into pit lane. He was 0.4 of a second quicker than Scott Rankin last time around. So Ruben Phelps has put the jandle down, as he'd say in Kiwi land, and he's trying to make as much up as he can now. He last come through lap. He's in pit lane now, so he last came through on lap 67. So this is going to give the lead of the motor race to Scott Rankin once again. But where will it put Ruben Phelps in relation to the rest of the field when he comes out? That's going to be the interesting part. Scott Rankin, there you're on board with now. Next time across the strike, he will take the lead. So Ruben Phelps is in pit lane. This is Scott Rankin going down the back stretch. So next time across the strike, Scott Rankin will take the lead of the motor race.
Just got to jump in here, Aiden, because the way things are panning out, this is going to be very interesting. So Scott Rankin pitted on lap 93. So if you calculate because he's running by himself, he's going to be burning a lot more fuel. So you look at that lap 30, 31 mark for pit stop for Scott Rankin, then he's going to make 2 stops to get home. He's not going to be able to get home on 1 more stop. But then you look at the likes of Malone and Sean Hart behind in 2nd and 3rd, who pitted on lap 95, 96, and they're going to be in a similar boat there. But you got Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly on lap 97, along with Ruben Phelps on lap 99. So if Cade and Gary can pull that off and they may be looking at a possible win there for one of the Sen boys. Otherwise, Ruben Phelps is sitting in a really good spot there for fuel strategy.
Yeah, definitely. I picked it about 30 minutes ago. I think I mentioned it with Ruben. I could see him about 3 or 4 laps different. He probably picked this early. Scott Rankin, he was very confident when he was up in the broadcast booth here earlier, saying, I've got this one, it's mine to lose. Early doors to say that one, because what we're seeing here is, I know there's about an eight lap difference there with those drivers running around about that pace. So there's going to be a short fill for the first 3, 4 drivers at the moment. Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly, not quite sure. Can they save enough to get to the end? That is the story. Ruben Phelps, I think he's definitely right to go. Even Justin Witcher there in the 7th position, he was through pit lane on 94 and Raymond Yeager on 94. So they're definitely going to have to pit again. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to keep one eye on one driver in the back end of this race with 58 laps to go, it is the 06 out of New Zealand. It is Ruben Phelps. He is in the prime position, if we go green, to possibly take for what will be a W that we didn't think could happen, because we haven't spoken about him a lot all night, but it's been all about strategy. We cannot ride off Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly in this one as well. We'll see whether we can bring Ruben Phelps up into the booth. I'm not sure whether he said whether he wanted to do that on the chat, but we'll see whether we can bring him up into the booth and see what he has to say. So we'll move up into the broadcast booth. Ruben Phelps, Schultzy, mate, sorry, keep concentrating. Hope you don't mind us bringing you up here into the broadcast booth, mate, but it's been a race of strategy. You're in 6th position at the moment. You're on a perfect fuel strategy. How are you feeling going into the back end of this one? We're now 103 into 160. You've pretty much nailed it so far. How are you feeling in the 06?
Yeah, not too bad. It's just been, pretty much it has been cruise mode for majority of this race, because it is quite a long one. So, but strategy is definitely looking quite good. I'm not quite sure. I think Scott can do it on this one stop, but I definitely can do it on one stop now. It's just a matter of what happens at the end of this race, because anything's possible still, but at the moment just cruising along still.
Well, we know the answer to the Scott question, and we're not going to give you the answer because we're the broadcasters, so you're going to have to guess. But we know whether Scott Rankin can get to the end on one stop. All we need to say, mate, is you have a great strategy. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sure we'll see you at the pointy end at the end of this one, mate. But sim racing-wise, mate, ex-teammates, good friends.
Oh, definitely, we're still going to be friends there.
Yeah, what's your plans for 2022, mate? What are you doing race-wise? I know you've got Justin Witcher ranging up onto the back here. We'll quickly let you go. What's your plans for 2022?
At the moment, the plans have been finalised. I just can't say too much, but other than that, you'll definitely still see me around in plenty of the NASCAR stuff. But at the moment, I am doing some more road course stuff this year, so stay tuned.
Mate, that's really good to see. Good to see you spread your wings and do a little bit more road course stuff. But we'll let you go back up, mate, and have a chat with the boys. You've got Justin Witcher right in behind you. We'll let you concentrate, but thanks for making yourself available here on the Sim Esports Network. And hopefully we're talking to you at the end of this one.
Yeah, cheers.
Moved to the wrong channel, gents. Moved him up into race channel 1. I shouldn't have done that. I'll have to move him again.
Oopsie.
I moved him again into the wrong channel. Go Aiden. He's doing a great job here, mate. See, I can commentate, but I can't move people at the same time. But Ryan, good to have a chat to Ruben there. Good to see him having a good run tonight, and good to see him racing in general, and good to see him spreading his wings, doing a little bit more road stuff, which is been a lot of fun. We've all probably navigated towards the oval stuff through our racing stuff over the last year or so. It's been a lot of fun doing a lot more road stuff, and good to see Ruben, who comes from a road racing background, to be able to spread his wings and go across into the road sector as Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager there, just getting the job done on, or Raymond trying to get the job done on Ruben. But this isn't bad for Ruben either, Ryan, when we see the fuel strategy that he's got. If he's in there in a draft, that's going to extend him even further on in this fuel stint and help him in the back end of this race even more so.
Yeah, strategy is gonna strategy is going to be a big thing towards the end of the race. So I'm just having a look at a lot of the pit strategies, and Ruben is also pretty similar with Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman. So, yeah, if they can make it to the end on one stop or a small splash at the end, it's a bit different than what I was expecting from last season when everyone didn't know whether they should pit at the end or not.
Well, Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman are in the box seat, if I be honest. They're looking very good. 97. Can they get 31 and a half laps of fuel out of the fuel tank with the draft? I'm sure they can. That's their number. 31 and a half laps per fuel tank. So if they can get to lap 129, that was the magic number I said about an hour ago. If they can get to that lap 129 on this fuel run, they're going to be in the box seat. Scott Rankin is the one who's a sitting duck at the moment. I hate to say it, gents. Scott Rankin, I think he is just a sitting duck, and fuel's going to be the evil of him tonight. But I've been made to be wrong. But with how he's run his race at the front, albeit he's now only got a 3-second gap on Adam Malone. So Adam Malone and this little battle, they are ranging right up onto the back of Scott Rankin. So Scott Rankin now realises that, I believe he's now realised that he's going to run out of fuel and he needs to get to a certain lap, because he just lost a second last lap around, and no doubt he's probably watching the broadcast and witnessing that. So Scott Rankin, a little bit too hard too early, and he's in save mode trying to get to that magical number, because in the last couple of laps they've taken nearly 10 seconds out of the leader.
Yeah, I would say that Ruben actually has probably the biggest shot at the moment, alongside Gary and Cade, to actually win the race. It doesn't really look like anybody else will really make it on just one more stop. So yeah, it's an interesting strategy from Scott, and I don't think it's going to work out the way he wanted it to
at this stage. But it's only a couple of laps. If he can save that, it's okay. He can sacrifice a little bit of position at the moment. He's still got that nearly 2-second lead on Adam Malone. Adam Malone, really happy with him at the moment. He's 95, so he's a little bit 95 through pit lane, so he's a little bit in no man's land. He's going to have to get 32 and a half laps out of a tank. Not sure whether he can in the number 4 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. He's going to need to get on the back of this little battle, or this Scott Rankin and Tristan Koch in front of him, to try and save some fuel. So Adam Malone is probably a little bit in no man's land at the moment, juggling Kenny Carney. If I thought Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly were in that boat, Adam Malone is definitely in that boat. He was only 2 laps difference to Scott Rankin. So Scott Rankin last through pit lane on lap 93. Adam Malone last through pit lane on lap 95. Gary Wellman last through pit lane on 97, as was Cade Donnelly in the 3rd and 4th position. 96 for Sean Hart. Justin Witcher 94. He's definitely not going to get to the end either. Raymond Yeager 94. And Ruben Phelps currently in the 8th position, but he was last through pit lane on lap 99. So he definitely has no problem getting to the end as fast as he can on fuel.
Yeah, that was a really good strategy call for Ruben. We do have 2 people in the pit lane, Peter Matson and Christopher Finlay. So I assume they are going to fill up the tank, and if they need to stop again, they won't need to stop as long. But yeah.
They won't need to stop as long, but track position, Ryan, track position is going to be key. They're going to go down a lap. They're going to struggle to be able to get that back. So we'll see how that plays out. But Scott Rankin, this is the battle for the lead of the motor race, ladies and gentlemen. I told you, tune in here on the Indy Esports Network and stay tuned in. We're 111 into 160, and it's now come down to a 5-car battle for the lead. This is Scott Rankin, Adam Malone, Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly, and Sean Hart. So the man who led most of the race so far, 111 into 160, he had a half a lap on the rest of the field. That's now gone down to what you can see, 2 car lengths, and that's between Scott Rankin and Adam Malone. It is all happening 111 into 160. Remember that magical number is lap 129. Who's going to be the first to blink? I know Adam Malone is going to sit in behind Scott Rankin here. This is the best opportunity for Adam to just sit in behind and save that fuel. Scott Rankin is still the pioneer at the front. He's just losing that draft off that lap car, Tristan Koch in front. Oh no, it's not even Tristan Koch anymore, but losing that draft. So this is really going to hurt Scott Rankin. Scott Rankin, if he wants to play a part in this race at the end, he really needs to drop on the back of this and try and save some fuel. Adam Malone in a good spot. This is helping out Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly. It's hurting the likes of Ruben Phelps because he's dropping back at the moment as well because he's not in the draft. He's got 7 seconds off the back of Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager. So this isn't helping Ruben Phelps as it goes green. If it goes green to the end, it's going to help him with his stationary time. But I can tell you right now, the box seat is Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly. They are in the box seat to take us in, boys, 1-2 in this one.
Yeah, I'm loving the strategy at the moment, and yeah, they've driven a long race. They're 113 laps in, and yeah, there could be a safety car, they could not. I'm leaning towards there won't be one, but if there is one, that's just going to mix up the entire remainder of the race. But yeah, Adam Malone's caught up to Scott Rankin, and yeah, I assume Adam will be trying to conserve as much fuel as he can to try and get to the end on one stop also.
Well, Ryan, you're teammates with Adam Malone. Why don't you can take the reins here on the IndySim Esports Network, mate. We'll give you permission to do that. Why don't you go and right-click on Adam Malone's name and bring him up into the broadcast booth? And how about you talk to Adam Malone here in the broadcast booth for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCARS eSeries and show the viewers how the I'll bring him up for you, but how you have a chat to your teammate, mate, and how you communicate. Even though I'm your teammate too, but it's all about you at the moment, mate, here on the IndySim Esports Network. We'll just try and find him. Where is he?
Doesn't look like he's in the server at the moment.
He's not in the Discord, so we can't do that. So there we go. That worked well. So get your dad to message Adam and get him up into the Discord, mate, and so we can have a chat with him. But who would you like to have a chat with here, mate, for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCARS eSeries final round? One driver, who would you like to talk to and have a chat to? Well, we are 115 laps into 160.
I reckon we should pull up Scott Rankin again, just to see what he thinks about the strategy and yeah, how he feels about getting to the end of the race.
All right, we'll bring him up for you, mate. You ask, you receive. We'll bring Scott Rankin up into the broadcast booth. I'm sure he's going to hate every single moment of it. We'll bring him up into the broadcast booth. And we've got Scotty Rankin up into the broadcast booth once again. Scott Rankin still leading the way, mate. You were very confident early on in this one, but I tell you what, fuel strategy is definitely going to keep you honest in this one.
Yeah, it's touch and go, and it's touch and go for the entire field. That was what I wanted to do, to be perfectly honest with you. And I've achieved what I wanted to do now. My next goal is to see if I can try and make it to the end. I've got control of this little pack. It's not... There's a few guys in it that are a little bit dicey on fuel. I'll tell you what, it's going to be caution-free, which I like, and she's going to be a fuel race, which I love, so...
Well, mate, I don't know if you've got some live timing overlays or something, but there's a couple of guys down the field that you really need to keep one eye on because they're coming, but we'll see how that plays out. But it's been a good race, mate. We're now 116 into 160, and you pretty much led, I'd say, 3/4 of those laps. You're looking good in the 15 car at the moment. Last through pit lane on lap 93. You're getting about 31 laps out of a tank of fuel. If I do the maths, 93 plus 62, that doesn't bring me to lap 160.
Well, it'll be a lot more. I can tell you right now, it won't be 31 this time by. It will be more. I was looking for a drafting buddy. Unfortunately, Tristan and I worked quite well together during that last fuel stint. It's not gone my way. I really wanted Adam to take over control of this one, and he didn't want to do it. I recognised that straight away, so I hunkered down. Sorry, excuse me, squashed up to the back of Nicholas, and Nick's pulling me along right now. There is a lot of saving going on in this pack right here.
So do you have enough to save 4 or 5 laps of fuel? Do you have enough to do it? Let's just be honest. Do you have enough to do it with one more pit stop? Does the 1.5 have enough saving ability to be able to go into pit lane on that magic number, I'd suggest around lap 128, 129, and get that car to the end?
Mate, I'm a data engineer, data analyst, that's what I do, and even I'm not sure, so that should tell you what everyone's like.
Well, that gives no hope for the rest of us then, mate, so thanks for that.
Well, if anyone from your work's watching, you might be out of a job.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, look, Nick Walsh is listening to the broadcast, I can tell you that right now.
Well, I can't see, my phone's going dead, so I can't see the
hang on,
broadcast.
How's Nick Walsh's strategy going, Aiden?
I have no clue. I've barely been following it, but he just immediately, about 10, 15 seconds after I said that, he lifted.
Well, I can tell you Nicholas Walsh's strategy is even worse than yours, so you've got a job for another week, mate. You're good to go. You've beaten Nicholas Walsh in the strategy compartment tonight, so... but Nick Walsh doing a great job. He's up into the 6th position, so... mate, Ryan, jump across to you, mate. Have a quick chat to Scotty, his second time up into the broadcast booth tonight. And Scott, from me personally, thanks so much for making yourself available. We won't do that to you tomorrow night for the Indy cars because I'll be driving against you, getting absolutely whipped by you. But, mate, thanks for making yourself available. I know it's hard driving, let alone talking to us plebs up here in the broadcast booth. But Ryan, mate, have a bit of a chat to Scott before we let him go.
Yeah, okay, so we've been, I've been keeping my eye on your telemetry, well, your lap times, the whole race so far. Justin Witcher is sitting in position number 7. Even if you don't get the championship, are you happy with how your race has gone?
I'm very happy. I come out here with something to prove. I honest to God, I really believe I was robbed from this race, winning this race last year. I've been robbed a couple... I wouldn't say robbed. Robbed is the wrong word for this season, but last season for sure. I think I should have been in victory lane at least once this season. It's been such a good showing from the 15 Team Chimera Racing / Indy Autosports entry. Really happy with. I've had Lachlan Capel on board the last few weeks. He's been trying to learn his strategy, and he took it to a 6th place finish in AOG IndyCar the other night. So he's been a joy to work with, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been close racing. I've been enjoying the banter with like all the top guys as well. I've been talking to Ray just about after every race. What a amazing feeling it was to see Chris Finlayson on the podium this week. So look, even if I can't say it's been the season I want, anything like that, the one thing that I can say is that it has been an amazing season all around.
Yeah, that's true. And even when if you win tonight, if you can save enough fuel, that's a really good thing. Especially winning the last race, that would feel pretty good. But yeah, we won't hold you here too long. But yeah, just good luck for your race, and I'm watching you.
Yeah, thanks, boys. And it's been a pleasure. It's been awesome to have you guys on board. Everything's been amazing. It's just been an amazing season. And yeah, there's a lot of the best part is, I've put Justin under the pump, especially in the early phases. It was really, really cool to come out here in a series where I didn't think I had much of a hope and lead a lot of the way early on. So that was amazing. So yeah, can't ask much more.
Well, mate, we look forward to seeing you for season 2. Obviously, you got IndyCars tomorrow night. You're looking forward to that one. You're in a little bit of a battle at the moment. Sorry if we're taking your attention.
No, you're not. No. This isn't a battle at all. This is me saving. I'm not in the throttle, to be perfectly honest. I can't afford to be.
We go on to round number 1. It's all about the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries tonight. But we go on to round number 1 for the Global iRacing League's IndyCar series. And I know you love the IndyCars. I've had some good battles with you in the IndyCars, and as has Ryan. Looking forward to round number 1 at Belle Isle tomorrow night. No doubt you'll be there. You love your IndyCars. Looking forward to round number 1 at Belle Isle tomorrow night.
Yeah, look, it's something I've had in the back of my mind, and I've had earmarked for a very long time that I'm interested in. I want to say big congratulations to Julian Mocky, who did take the championship back-to-back. Julian, I've been around racing Julian for probably about 15, 18 months now, and he is just such a joy to be around. So, look, this season I'm joining from word go, so my goal is to put my entry right up at the front and really rattle a few cages, and the same way that I've done here. I think, you know, it's been an amazing series. For those who don't understand the Indy cars, it is very similar to racing a V8 supercar actually on oval. It's a lot more, you've got to be active. You can't just be stationary in the car. You've got to be thinking, what am I doing? What's my goals? Where am I trying to position the car? How is the car performing? How's the car going to perform in 10 laps time? How can I adjust the car now to make that better in 10 laps time? And there's fuel map settings, there's a weight jack setting, there's a adjustable front and rear ARB, even with a fixed setup, which is very, very different to what we've got here. This is a fixed setup. You cannot change anything except the brake wires. So for those of you who aren't interested in Indy cars, it's an amazing discipline. It takes all of the close racing that comes from the oval racing, and you know, a lot of the part that drew me to iRacing was that oval sort of racing and the close racing that come out of it. It's not just sitting here and turning left. And honestly, the guys that we've got across in that series, there is not a bad word said at the race. If somebody makes a mistake, it is just that. It's that, oh, mate, you made a mistake. Yeah, just went a little bit deep into turn one. Yeah, no worries, mate, no worries. We'll see you again next week. And it's been an amazing championship, and I really can't wait to kick off another season in IndyCars tomorrow night.
Well, hopefully with it transitioning across to the global iRacing leagues, it's going to take it to the next level. So I'm hoping to do that, and hopefully I can bring you an amazing season. But in saying that, you mentioned the oval for the IndyCar. It's actually a 60-40 split this season, so 60% road courses, only 40% oval courses. So a little bit of a different look for the IndyCar series here for the global iRacing leagues to what you previously known as the full throttle iRacing leagues. So a little bit different, mate, and I think that might throw the cat amongst the pigeons with some of the drivers, with some of them not being so strong on road courses.
Yeah, look, and I like the split that you've taken as well. It's something different. You go from the oval guys. Hang on one sec. Yeah, you go from having an oval group that that's all they do is, you know, they sit down and they race ovals, and they're very different to the road racing guys. And IndyCar is one of the best worlds where it just sort of pulls both of those groups together. So.
Well, mate, we'll let you go as you're going into pit lane. We'll let you go back up, and we'll let you go back up into the race channel. But thanks for making yourself available, mate. Well, there we go, guys. We had to let him go because he was coming into pit lane. Scott Rankin come into pit lane. So the magic number for Scott Rankin was lap 128 out of 160. Sorry, 126 out of 160. So he did not hit that mark, gentlemen. He did not get to that 129 mark. So Scott Rankin's going to be hard pushed to get to the end. Gary Wellman and Kay Donnelly's taken the lead of the motor race. And they got Sean Hart behind them, lap 96. Sean Hart, I tell you what, he's not in a bad spot at the moment as well. Adam Malone's obviously saving some fuel there as well. Ruben Phelps has gone a lap down in this one. So Ruben Phelps strategy-wise was looking all right, but I'm just looking at him at the moment. Wait for the live timing to catch up, but looks like Ruben Phelps has gone a lap down. He come through pit lane on lap 112. So interesting for Ruben there, come through pit lane on 112. He was right to go to the end with one more pit stop. So I think something might have happened to Ruben Phelps there for him to have to come through pit lane on lap 112. He's only stationary for 16.7 seconds, so that's fuel only. Did he think he could not make it to the end on one more stop, where it looked like he could have, because he came through pit lane on lap 99, remember, gentlemen, and he was right to go to the end, but he's now come through on lap 112, so not sure what happened there with the 06 of Ruben Phelps. As we've got Adam Malone coming into pit lane now as well, so his magic number was end of lap 127, start of 128, so Adam Malone, he's still going to be borderline to get to the end as well. He's probably going to be there. If he can save enough fuel, he's going to be there. But Gary Wellman, Kay Donnelly and Sean Hart, this is your battle for the lead of the motor race and your battle for the win at this stage. So we'll see what happens. Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly, Sean Hart. Will guarantee you Sean Hart will come into pit lane this time across. So they make their way down through turns number 3 and 4 once again. Gary Wellman, we're on board with there. You can see Cade Donnelly and Sean Hart. You just want Sean Hart in that green car in behind Cade Donnelly. You'll expect to see him blink and come into pit lane this time around. No, we don't. He's going to do another lap. So Sean Hart's able to do another lap. So Sean Hart's been in fuel save mode and he's right to go for another lap. So these 3 drivers now, they've hit the critical lap mark, lap 128. It will be lap 129 next time across the strike. Or we are 129. It'll be lap 130 next time across the strike. So these 3 drivers have now put themselves in the window. They'll be able to go green to the end. And I tell you what, this is your 1, 2, 3 at the moment, bar there being a safety car intervention.
Yeah, not too sure if there's going to be a safety car, but I'm excited for the last 10 laps, 20 laps of the race, and then we can really see what's going to happen. Yep, Sean Hart's coming into the pit lane. It looks like there's only 2 more people that will need to come into the pit lane for their 4th stop. Not sure, don't know if it's their final. Justin Witch is currently 4th place. He's done 4 stops, and Scott Rankin's dropped down into 8th.
Well, let's go back to Ruben Phelps. Let's have a chat to Ruben. We want to see what happened to him because we thought he could get up into the position to be able to race. But we'll bring Ruben Phelps back up into the booth. Rubes, mate, through pit lane on lap 112, that was a little bit different to what we thought last time we spoke. Mate, we thought you could get to the end with 1 more stop. What happened to the 06 there? Why'd you come through pit lane on lap 112?
Let's just say I have no idea, but for some reason, throughout the stints of those tyres, I lost 50% more on my right front, and it blew the tyre after a certain amount of laps of that stint. And I don't know how that happened when it was a lot higher up from the first double stint, and then I changed it on the second stint, and it had gone down 50% on that right front. So, and I didn't even notice that because I was thinking I didn't really run any harder, so I really don't know. So the tyre blew.
It's unfortunate, mate, because you're in a good position there to be able to fight for the win of this one, and it's really put you not to the back, but it's put you in a hard position. You got Adam Malone in behind you at the moment. Scott Rankin, he's got a fuel save problem at the moment as well after leading 75% of this one. Unfortunate to get that blown tyre. I wasn't expecting to see you through pit lane on 112. I was probably expecting around a lap 128, 129, but mate, unfortunate for the 06, but keep pushing on there, mate, because you'll still get a good result here with the drivers around you having to pit again as well. So unfortunate there, mate, but it's the way it happens, and you've had a good night all around. Good to see you back at the point.
Yeah, for sure. I know I'm not the only one that had a tyre issue, so that's all good, but it happens.
No worries, mate. We'll let you go back up and concentrate. We just want to jump down and let the viewers know what happened to the 06 of Ruben Phelps, mate. But we wish you all the best. We'll let you concentrate, and we'll talk to you hopefully at the end of the race.
Yeah, we'll do.
Well, there you go, Rhino. Ruben Phelps blew a tyre, got the meatball flag, and we saw that last season for the final round there was an issue with blowing the front right tyre, and it's no different tonight, and the first one to do it tonight is Ruben Phelps, 06 out of New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how much tyre he has left now, because he would have reverted back to his first set of tyres, so he'll have his fingers crossed at the moment to make sure he's going to get it to the end in less than 30 laps.
Yeah, he'll get his tyres to the end, I'd suggest, but fuel-wise, he's not going to. Justin Witcher has taken the lead of the race. We are on board with Ruben at the moment. We'll stay on board with Ruben. as Paul's just got to go and do something at the moment. So we'll stay on board with Ruben, but you can see on your timing tower there on the left-hand side, Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager's taken the lead of the motor race. They've still got to come through pit lane for another pit stop. Lap 112 was their last pit lane transit, so they could probably get another 10 laps out of it as Ruben Phelps is making the move on Gary Wellman down there into turns 1 and 2. And he's going to get the job done on Cade Donnelly too there. I believe that's Cade Donnelly. But, yeah, they've got a pit. So Justin Witcher, Raymond Yeager and Ruben Phelps in 1, 2 and 3. Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager are 12 seconds down the road from this battle here, where you see Ruben Phelps in third. But Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman in behind, and even Adam Malone. Tell you what, don't take your eyes off Adam Malone, Ryan. He did come through pit lane on lap 127, but he's just in there saving fuel. Is he going to be able to get the number 4 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry to the end? Is he going to be able to fight for this 127, 33 laps out of a tank of fuel? I'll tell you what, if he gets it to the end, he's going to be doing better than I could, but he's putting himself in a good position. But it still is Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman definitely doing the great job at the front of this one. It's their race to lose. They have run an absolutely sensational race, from strategy to race awareness to where they are. They haven't worried about being at the front the whole way through the race, but now we come into what is payday time, 134 into 160. They're good to go to the end. Mate, what a drive by the Sim Boys entries at the front of this.
Yeah, Sim Boys are definitely on a really good strategy, and they're definitely going to make it to the end, I reckon. Adam, however, has both Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman, and Ruben ahead of him, so that draft is going to help pretty big. And yeah, I'm hoping he can save enough fuel sitting behind these 3 cars, and if he can make it to the end, he could have a chance or a shot at victory.
Well, we'll bring him up into the booth. They did say that we were allowed to chat to him during the broadcast. So we got Cade Donnelly. Cabo, mate, you got a copy? Cade Donnelly, have you got a copy?
Copy.
Got us. Hey, mate, strategy 101 for the Sim Boys tonight, mate. In a good spot, last through pit lane on lap 130. You're getting about 31 laps out of a tank using the strategy. Here at the moment, yourself and Gaz at the front doing a great job, and in the box seat to go 1-2 again for the Sim Boys here around Indianapolis. You were, I think you were the winner last season, or was it Steve Williams?
Steve Williams.
Steve Williams, yeah, 0.001. But mate, strategy has been great by you guys. Scott Rankin went out hard early. He's led most of the race, but you guys have been doing a great job. We haven't spoken about you a tremendous amount tonight, but you're thereabouts. We can see where you are on this strategy. And how you feeling? You good to go? You're good to go fuel all the way to the end?
Yeah, fuel's good, mate. Fuel's good. So we're just still going to try and save a little bit here and there, but if we can keep this up, we should be pretty good.
Well, you got yourself and Gary Wellman in behind you at the moment. Adam Malone's there in behind you as well. Obviously, he's going to try and use your draft.
Yeah.
Probably a season that what could have been for the Sim Boys guys. Gary Wellman, a couple of wins this season. Yourself on some of the road courses, more particularly, always quick. A little bit of unfortunate instance there. A little bit of a season of what could have been for the Sim Boys cars here for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, and looks like we're going to have Justin Witcher go back to back once again. But I'm sure your boys are going to come out hard and strong in what has been a bolstered team to now a 7-car team, mate, with the guys from Hot Toddies and stuff like that coming across. So I'm sure you guys are absolutely looking forward to season 3 in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, mate, we are coming out swinging, so getting safety numbers. Yeah, looking forward to season 3.
I think the most important question, though, is, Cabo, is it's how do you feel about Paul Jackson coming back driving into the series, mate? Are you concerned about that at all, or?
Nah.
I'd be concerned, not from talent, just I'd be concerned he's driving in general.
Perish the thought, mate.
Good to think you seconded. I was coming back racing as well, mate, but I'm not going to do that. I'll be commentating and we'll be broadcasting on the Indy Esports Network. But, mate, we'll let you jump back up there and get back concentrated with your teammate, Gary. It'd be good to see you guys in the Supercars on a Friday night across in the Global iRacing Leagues, which was Full Throttle Sim Racing Leagues. We do obviously have Indy cars tomorrow night, and then we go with the Real World NASCAR schedule as of February. So it'd be good to see you guys a part of that if you do have time. But for now, mate, jump up and have fun, get amongst it, and hopefully see you guys get a Sim Boys one too. But I tell you what, Southern Stars Esports entry of Adam Lyon will have something to say about that.
Yeah, cheers, mate. You boys there?
Yeah, it does look like Aiden's left momentarily. He'll be back in a moment. Okay, so at the moment, Raymond Yeager, Justin Witcher, and Ruben Phelps will need to transit the pit lane to make it to the end. And Kay Donnelly and Gary Wellman look like they're in a very good position to make it to the end. Adam Malone is also looking pretty good there, sitting behind Ruben Phelps, Kay Donnelly and Gary Wellman, getting the draft to try and make it to the end. And I'm not too sure where Aiden's gone. I'm not sure if he's still here.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I don't know what happened then. I moved Cade back into his channel and next minute I was gone. So anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly right. We're on board with Raymond Yeager. He's leading the way at the moment. He was down pit lane last on a lap 112. So your top three at the moment is Raymond Yeager, Justin Witcher and Ruben Phelps down through pit lane on lap 112. They will have to go through pit lane for one more occasion tonight. So it is Kade Donnelly we're just speaking to, and Gary Wellman and Adam Malone, Sean Hart and Scott Rankin now. So it is a 5-car battle for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, which will become the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th battle as when we see Raymond Yeager, Justin Witcher and Ruben Phelps come into pit lane. So we're going to expect them into pit lane if they run this fuel tank out on lap probably 142. So maybe this lap or the next lap we'll see the likes of Raymond Yeager, Justin Witcher and Ruben Phelps come into pit lane, and that's going to give Kade Donnelly, Gary Wellman, Adam Malone, Sean Hart and Scott Rankin a free fight to the end of the race. I'm worried for Scott Rankin on fuel. Last through pit lane on lap 125. If he can get 35 laps out of the tank of fuel, he has done the miracle effort. And good to be able to come back after leading most of the race to be able to finish up. Sean Hart in a great position. Lap 129 for him. Here we go. Here's the lap. So Raymond Yeager's in. Justin Witcher's in as well. So they've come in out of the lead of the motor race. Ruben Phelps, he's going to go one more lap. He's going to take another lap lead, but that's the lead of the motor race in behind them. So those 5 guys in behind Ruben Phelps, when Ruben decides to come into pit lane, it is the lead of the motor race. So if we look at fuel strategy, Kade Donnelly, Gary Wellman and Sean Hart are in the box seat. Adam Malone is a little bit of an unknown at the moment there, Ryan. Scott Rankin, I don't think he can get there. What's your thoughts at the moment as we're 142 into 160?
Yeah, Aiden, I think Scott Rankin will need to go through the pit lane again. The only people that I really think that could possibly make it to the end without a stop is definitely Cade and Gary. And Adam Malone does have a question mark over his name. However, if everybody needs to stop again, I'm pretty sure that actually, as Ruben Phelps comes into the pit lane now, it's now Kay Donnelly, Gary Wellman and Adam Malone in the top 3 positions. And if Adam Malone needs to pit again alongside everybody else, I'm pretty sure he'll make it to the end in 3rd place.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the decisive factor on the top 3 here, mate, is whether or not Adam Malone can get to the end. So I don't think Scott Rankin can. I really don't think he can. If he can save that fuel, he's going to be an absolute masterstroke to be able to get a podium in this one if he gets there, because he led most of the race. He was very confident early, but he may have gone too hard too early because he used too much fuel, but if he can get to the end, it's a master stroke, as we see Christopher Finlay in the background going into pit lane. But the one to watch for is Adam Malone. So, yes, he's our teammate in the racing world, but we can't be biased here. We're commentators on the Sim Esports Network. But from a racing standpoint, it's going to be interesting to see whether he has enough to say. He's got to get 33 laps out of this tank. He's been in the draft the whole time, but just because he saves the fuel, Ryan, and can get to the end, is he going to have enough to be able to even battle Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman when it comes down to chocolates time in the next 15 laps to be able to make a move? Because Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman definitely do not have that problem on fuel. So is he going to be able to hold on from Sean Hart, though? Because Sean Hart is 2 laps the better on fuel there in the 4th position that you can see just in behind Adam Malone. So the minor placings, there's still a lot to play for here. This is your top 5 currently as we go lap 145 into 160. And the Indianapolis 400, tell you what, didn't disappoint last year last season for season 1. It hasn't for season 2 either. It's come down to 5 cars. It's come down to strategy. We saw last season that the race was determined by 0.001 of a second. Are we going to see the same thing tonight, Ruben? Is it going to be a Southern Stars win? Is it going to be a Sim Boys win? Is it going to be Sean Hart coming from 4th to get his first win here for the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries? Time will tell as we're 145 into 160. But Ryan and I will go quiet for a little bit. We'll just stay on board with Adam Malone. We'll give you 3 or 4 laps just watching this little bit of a battle pack before we bring you all the action for the closing laps here of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. What is the final round of season number 2? We'll put our mics on mute, turn your TVs up and enjoy this little battle for the lead of the motor race before we bring you all the action at the end of this one. So we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of quietness instead of hearing my silly voice up in the broadcast booth. Like, I won't call your voice silly, Ryan, because you're doing a great job tonight. But Adam Malone now making the move for the 2nd position over Gary Wellman. So Adam Malone looking very racy late in this one. Cade Donnelly is, as one of the Pinnacle Esports cars just gets a little bit in the road there on the exit of turn number 2. He's going to just jump up Adam Will and get in the draft to Cade Donnelly. But Adam Malone, he might be thinking he's good on fuel at the moment because he wanted to get that job done on Gary Wellman. So that's very interesting by Adam Malone late in this one, 149 into 160. As Gary Wellman tries to return the favour through turn number 4 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and he gets that job done on Adam Malone. But Adam Malone on the outside, he just holds tough. So this is a good little battle, but the more they do this is allowing Cade Donnelly to just get a little bit further down the road there, Ryan.
Yeah, well, Adam Malone's a really good driver, and he knows how to drive a supercar. So if he thinks that he can make it to the end and he's driving harder to get past Gary Wellman, then he must be trusting how much fuel's left in the car. There is 11 laps until white flag, 11 laps until the end of the race actually, and yeah, it doesn't really look like anyone's come through the pit lane yet, but there will be some people coming through the pits because I don't think they'll make it.
It's going to be one or two, Ryan. I can see on the relative. It's going to be number one. The story of the night is, can Adam Malone get the number 4 home? We know Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman can. So they're now getting drafted by lap cars as well. So they're good to go. So the 1 and 2 at the moment are pretty much good to go to the end. The story is Adam Malone. Can he get to the end? He's dropping off the back of this battle, so it's telling me he's really saving. Sean Hart, he should be able to get to the end. 129, he was last through pit lane. So he saved a little bit. You can see him in the background there. Is he going to be able to get to the end? I think he can. Scott Rankin, I think definitely not. I think lap number 158 will see Scott Rankin have to jump into pit lane. Can he save enough and be able to consolidate a top 5? He's got 45 seconds on Raymond Yeager and Ruben Phelps in the 6th and 7th position, but tell you what, when these things start coughing, you're going to lose a lot of time. So we'll see what happens there. But the story of the night, Adam Malone, can he get there? Can he get to the end? Sean Hart, is he going to be able to get to the end and fight for the battle? Because Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly are going to be able to get there most definitely as they're making the move and putting Ruben Phelps' lap down now.
Well, everyone seems to be driving a bit harder and a bit faster, so there could be a chance for a safety car if anyone makes the wrong moves, and that would mix up everything. But Adam Malone's looking like he's coming on the inside here to try and get back up to Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman. Not too sure how well he is on fuel. I can't check up with him, and we can't bring him into the booth to ask, but yeah, if he doesn't make it to the end, then he's raced a good race anyways. Scott Rankin has also done an amazing job, especially in the first 3 quarters of the race.
Well, if we talk about pure skill, Scott Rankin has been a class above tonight in terms of race pace. That's probably been a detriment to him too, though, on his strategy. So, but he's still in there in 5th position, just hanging tough in behind this battle. Adam Malone's going to want to stay up in behind Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly as much as he can. But now Sean Hart's going, it's go time. So we're 163 now into 153 rather, into 163. Sean Hart's been saving that fuel and he thinks it's go time. He's ranged right up onto the back of Adam Malone. So if he wants to be a part of this one and try and fight for the win, for what is the final round, round number 11 of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries here from Indianapolis. Sean Hart's going to have to get this job done pretty shortly on Adam Malone. It is a Sim Boys 1-2, Southern Stars Esports Racing in P3, Sean Hart P4, Scott Rankin in P5. Raymond Yeager still on the lead lap, albeit 47 seconds behind this little battle at the moment in the 6th position. But we are now going 164 this time across the strike, in 154, I keep saying the wrong thing, 154 into 160. So, fuel strategy. I can't see you tuning in here on the Sim Esports Network, guys. My Facebook streaming's gone down, so I can't see if you're commentating. I've got Pete Gretton in the other room, no doubt he's looking at it, and he's talking to all your guys. I did see your comment, though, there, Brad, that anytime Paul races is you need to look out in terms of giving him crap. So Paul's on mute at the moment. He's not actually talking to us, so I'm sure you'll like that little sentiment. I don't want to know what you say about me, though, Brad, because I'm usually in the wall most times I race, so I'm sure Blocker will do better than me. But this little battle, they've now got away. So this is the 4-car battle for the lead, and it's all about fuel strategy. Scott Rankin is out of this one, out of contention to win this one. It's all about Adam Malone. Does Adam Malone have something for these guys fuel-wise? We know that Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman and Sean Hart should be good to go. But does Adam Malone have enough? Has he fuel saved enough? It'll be one of the longest stints we've seen on a tank of fuel here for the final round of the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. If Adam Malone can get that number 4 into the podium position, and Adam Malone goes, I'm going for a move, and we're nearly going 3 wide. We're going to go 2 wide into turn number 3 at Indianapolis, and Adam Malone making the move on Gary Wellman there. Is he going to be able to get that one done? He just gets pinched a little bit through turn number 3, and he's going to sit in behind Cade Donnelly out of turn number 4. He's going to get that job done, and now he's in the draft. So Adam Malone has got the job done up into P number 2. He's going to go on the outside down into P number 1. Look at that run by the 4 of Adam Malone. It's Sim Boys against Southern Stars Esports Racing. This ain't going to come easy. Don't write off Sean Hart there in the 4th position. He's sitting in the prime spot to be able to pounce on anything that happens here in the final stage of this one. But I tell you what, Ryan, I'm about to get excited. This is the time. This is go time. This is when you want to tune into the Sim Esports Network. And we've only got a couple of laps to go. Who's going to take out the final round of the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries? And who's going to be crowned the 2nd champion of the Indy 400 here for the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries? There's a bit of contact. Cade Donnelly getting just into the side of Adam Malone, and Adam Malone's now taking the lead of the motor race, and we're going to go across the strike this time, and there's only going to be a couple of laps to go. We are going on to lap 157 of 160, and there's 3 to go, and it's on like Donkey Kong. Cade Donnelly giving a little bit of a nudge there to Adam Malone through turn number 1, through turn number 2. He keeps throwing the nose down the inside. Adam Malone not driving in his mirrors at the moment. He's doing a great job, but you still got Sean Hart there up into the 4th position. Is he going to be able to do anything at the moment? I'm not sure. These guys are going to play hard. They're going to play fair, 157 into 160 as Cade Donnelly tries to make the move around the outside through turn number 3 this time around. Gary Wellman just sitting in behind Adam Malone. There's no team orders there from the Sim Boys racing cars. So Gary Wellman is going to use the draft to Adam Malone, but Cade Donnelly and Sean Hart's got a great run around the outside. And we're going to go 3 wide, ladies and gentlemen, into turn number 1 in Indianapolis. 2 laps to go. We're 3 wide. Gary Wellman on the inside, Adam Malone on the middle, and Cade Donnelly on the outside. There's no contact there. They make their way out of turn number 1. We're still 3 wide. Adam Malone just gets pipped by Cade Donnelly. Cade Donnelly comes down on the inside, and Cade Donnelly's now got the run. So Cade Donnelly takes the lead of this motor race, Ryan, and we're going to go 3 wide. Once again, I'd suggest as we go into turn number 3 for the second last time tonight. We are lap 168 or 158 or 159. I can't quite see that.
Yeah, Adam's an absolute weapon right now. It looks like he does have enough fuel to the end if he's racing this hard. So he'll be trying to get in the draft and actually get close, get back up to them too to try and finish the best he can, honestly. Our heart's racing, adrenaline's pumping. This is going to be a close race like last season.
Yeah, most definitely will. We've gone 159. Sorry, I couldn't quite see that on my live timing. So we've gone 159, 2 laps to go. It is Sim Boys at the front, Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman side by side as they make their way through turn number 2. Have a look who's ranging up on the back of this one, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sean Hart, the man who's been sitting behind for the last hour of racing. And he goes, it's go time, it's boogity, boogity, boogie, as Will Tripp would say. And we are going racing. It took 159 laps to get it going, but now it's spicing up. Got Cade Donnelly on the outside of Gary Wellman. Gary Wellman's going to clear Cade Donnelly through turn number 3. Sean Hart's trying to make the move on Cade Donnelly for the 2nd position through turn number 4. He's going to have a bit of help by Adam Malone and get the draft down the main straight. As Adam Malone goes now, we're going 3 wide, so there is no drafting together. Cade Donnelly's looking in his mirrors going, thank you boys, keep doing that. But we go 3 wide into turn number 1. Sean Hart just gets the job done on the outside of Adam Malone. Gary Wellman still sitting there on the outside line. Cade Donnelly's race to lose at the moment as we make their way out of turn number 2 for the last time. They're down the back straight. We're going 3 wide again. Adam Malone is going down. This is the battle for the minors. Cade Donnelly's got this one stitched up, bar anything going wrong. But this is the battle for second, third and fourth. Who's going to get the podium positions? Adam Malone with a big dive into turn number 3 on Gary Wellman. Sean Hart's now coming up on the inside. We're going 3 wide into the final corner. Sean Hart gets the job done on Adam Malone, but now we've got the draft down the main straight for the last time. Who's it going to be? We've got Kate Donnelly taking the win. We've got Adam Malone having the draft there. And, Gary Wellman winning, over Sean Hart and Kate Donnelly. Sorry, I thought that was Kate Donnelly. My apologies, called the wrong driver. But I tell you what, how close was that? Gary Wellman getting the job done over Sean Hart, Kate Donnelly, and Adam Malone with a drive and a half to be able to get enough fuel in that car to come home in P4.
Yeah, also keep in mind, Scott Rankin has not gone through the pit lane, but he hasn't crossed the line at the moment. So, yep, now he has. He's just crossed the line for 5th place. And yeah, he would have been a stretch.
Good job by all drivers. So Scotty Rankin, the race that could have been, he'd be happy with his race in either way. But it is the Sim Boys 1 and 3. Sean Hart, what a drive to get up into P number 2. Just sort of misjudged his last couple of laps to be able to get that run, to be able to fight Gary Wellman for the win of that one. But I tell you what, 160 laps, a long way around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And as we saw season 1 for the final round, very similar finish. It definitely didn't disappoint as we see Gary Wellman doing his celebratory donuts. And he hasn't made a dent in that Sim Boys car all night, but he just did that while he was trying to do his donuts. But what a race, guys. What a race.
Yeah, that my heart was racing so quick. Adam's done so well. Like, getting up not bright and early this morning, doing the Bathurst 1000, and then doing tonight's race now. He's done a lot of supercars today, and I would bet he's pretty tired.
100% he would be. We're up nice and early, and he got a top 10. He got a top 10 for the CXR Bathurst 1000. Now he brings it out tonight with the top 5 for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Justin Witcher doing some celebratory donuts there, because Justin Witcher will be crowned your RayWhite Rule Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries champion for the 2nd time running, defending champion, and he comes out and defends that championship, and he'll go into season number 3 with the target on his back. But I tell you what, Justin Witcher, what a stellar series for him once again. But we'll go through your standings tonight. It was Gary Wellman coming home with the P1, Sean Hart P2, Kate Donnelly rounding out your top 3 positions tonight. Adam Malone with a stellar drive in 4th, Scott Rankin. It was the night that could have been for Scotty, but good to come home in P5th for him. Raymond Yeager in 6th, Ruben Phelps in 7th. We've got Jamie Nankovas home in 8th, Christopher Finlay in 9th. Peter Matson came home in 10th position. Greg Spencer in 11th, Tristan Koch in 12th. Nicholas Walsh in 13th, Justin Witcher in 14th. Nigel Payton in 15th, Aaron Dillon in 16th, John Class 17th, and rounding out the 18 cars tonight for the final round of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries was Ian Class. So we'll just see whether they're coming into the green room and have a chat to them, or we might just have to bring them up. We'll bring them up into the Gary Wellman's jumped up, so we'll bring him up into the broadcast booth. So just bear with us as we bring all the drivers up into the broadcast booth. We'll bring Justin Witcher up. We will bring Kay Donnelly will come up. And we just got to have a look for Sean to see if he's in there anywhere. Doesn't look like Sean is in the
Yep, he's in the green room.
There he is. He's in there at the moment. We'll bring him up into the broadcast booth and have a chat with him. So we've got all the drivers up here into the broadcast booth. We'll start off with your 3rd place getter tonight, Kay Donnelly. First and foremost, mate, thanks for letting us talk to you during the broadcast. But P3, mate, you and Gary had it at the front there. Got caught up in a little bit of a battle for 2nd position, which really stopped you trying to have a fight there with Gary, mate. But in a season that what could have been, you've got to be happy to come home with a P3 here for the Indy 400. But you were the bridesmaid last year or last season, and just down 1 position in P3 tonight. I'm sure you're looking for season 3 and try and get in that W around Indy.
Yeah, she's mate, but yeah, it was good racing, good, so can't complain.
Well, mate, you come home with P3. I think where Adam and Sean were going 3 wide. I tell you what, it was great spectacle. Go back and watch that on the broadcast booth. It was great to call. We always knew that the race was always going to come down to the last couple of laps, and it was the calm before the storm, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. But that 3 wide action, you really had no control over it because everyone wants to win, everyone wants to go. That's allowed Gary to get down the road and get another win here for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. But that was pretty much what stopped you being able to fight for the win. But either way, mate, strategy was great by the Sim Boys cars tonight. Unfortunate for Aaron Dillon to be out early in this one, but you got to be happy with the P3.
Yeah, for sure, mate, and happy to see Gaz take the win too. You know, like I don't think I'm in a position. You know, he's in a better position in the championship, so it was easy for him to, you know, go through and take the win. Yeah, stoked.
Well, mate, there'll be celebratory drinks down there in Tasmania for the Sim Boys cars for what's been an absolutely stellar season for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. We always expect to see you guys at the front. You got to watch out next season. As we said, Paul's in the car. So anytime Paul's around, you just put your hazard lights on because you're going to need them. But, mate, big congratulations on your P3 tonight. I know you usually don't have many shout-outs and stuff to sponsors, but I know you've merged with teams now and you've got some extra sponsors on board. So a big shout-out to those sponsors and everyone involved for your P3 tonight.
Yeah, thanks to United Electrical, Nicholas Walsh and Todd Maxfield for his heating installations. Yeah, and the boys, of course, and Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries for the season, and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
No worries at all. Our absolute pleasure, mate. But congratulations once again on your P3. No doubt we'll be seeing you a lot up here in the broadcast booth for season number 3 in the next couple of weeks. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your third place getter tonight for the Indy 400 here for the final round of the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. It was the 41 of Cade Donnelly. It moves us straight across to your second place together tonight. Sean Hart. Sean, mate, I tell you what, it's been a long time coming to chat to you here in the broadcast booth. You've had a very quick car all season long. A little bit of unlucky or a little bit of bad luck on different tracks. You've always been quick. You've always been up the front. But P2 tonight, not quite close enough to challenge Gary Wellman in those final stages, but you've got to be happy with your P2.
Yeah, thanks. Very happy. Missed out last year with a 4th, so good to get a podium this time around.
So what was the catalyst there tonight, mate? You're a little bit off kilter with strategy. You're a couple of laps earlier through the pit lane than the likes of Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly. Just had enough to be able to save that fuel. You were sitting back there with about 20 to go. You weren't really wanting to challenge. That was all about fuel save, I'd suggest, from what I could see. And when it was go time, you definitely hit the hammer down and very unfortunate to get the first with that 3 wide action, as I just said to Cade. That probably stopped yourself, Cade, and Adam to be able to challenge for Gary Wellman for the lead. But, yeah, mate, amazing drive.
Yeah, thanks very much. Bit of a fuel save at the start of the last stint, but nothing that wasn't overly manageable. Yeah, Gary just picked his moment when we were all tripping over each other, and yeah, congrats to him. That was a good race by him.
Well, mate, first time. I think it's the first time in the broadcast booth with us for a podium, I believe. Or at least it's been a long time between drinks. Season 2 done and dusted now with the biggest race of the season. Will we see you back for season 3?
Yeah, definitely. Really enjoy this series. The guys put on a good show. The quality of racing is always next level, so adrenaline pumping every time. Definitely back for next season.
Well, we look forward to that, mate, and we look forward to seeing you on many more occasions up here on the IndySim Esports Network broadcast booth. But I need to say, as I always said, look out. Paul Jackson's driving next season, so mate, you need to put your safety vest on, get all your hazards out, because the hazard in iRacing, he's not called blocker for no reason. So you'll have to deal with that pest next season, as I call all the action, mate. But congratulations once again on your P2. Big shout out to all those sponsors and everyone involved.
You got me, yeah. Just Brownie's Garage. You can find them on YouTube, and all the Code 9 boys, as well as the Australasian eSeries by RayWhite, Rural Gayndah, and you guys for broadcasting. Thanks, guys.
No worries, mate. It's our absolute pleasure. And once again, congratulations on your P2 tonight. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your second place getter for the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries. Final round here for the Indy 400. It was Sean Hart in the 610. It puts us straight across to your race winner. He's no stranger to the podium, no stranger to first place here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries. A man that's missed a couple of rounds due to personal commitments. But Gary Wellman, Gaz, mate, another W tonight. You got that job done. Indy 400, biggest race of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. And you got the Sim Boys 45 entry into victory lane, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, Aidan. Pretty happy there. It's a bit of a toss of the coin, I think, between me and Kate, how that panned out at the end there. And yeah, things, as Sean mentioned, sort of fell my way, and it all worked out. So I'm pretty happy with that.
What were you thinking when Scott Rankin was nearly half a lap in front early on in that one? Were you thinking he had the raw pace and he was going to drive away with that? We could see on our live timing what was happening with pit strategy and everything. And there was another driver in which had a bit of hard luck tonight, which probably would have been in a position to possibly challenge, but ended up blowing a front right tyre. How were you feeling strategy-wise, and how was your tyre wear going through the race? Did you ever have an issue? I know last season for the final round at Indianapolis, I think we saw 5 drivers get a meatball flag for blowing their front right tyre. How'd your car feel, especially double stinting a lot around such a long race? Did you ever have that issue with tyre wear?
No, it's pretty good. I think Chris blew a tyre, he said, and Cade was really good on tyre wear, and I was sort of somewhere in between, but not to the point where I was actually stressing it. It was that last stint, just stretching it as long as we could until just to make sure we had a full noise, run at the end there. I was just hoping my tyre was going to hang on, but yeah, still 25%. So yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, it definitely did, mate. So season 2. Probably a season of what could have been for the 45 Sim Boys entry. Couple of wins this season, missed a couple of rounds due to your hiking expeditions and the things you do through there. I see you're very active. You like a bit of mountain biking and all that type of stuff. Season of what could have been, going into season number 3, are you looking at having a full tilt at this one and try and get the Sim Boys or one of the Sim Boys guys actually come up and try and take the championship away from Justin Witcher, who's been unheaded for the first 2 seasons here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries?
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, I think I was second last season, and then missed. I don't know how many rounds I missed this season, but yeah, I had a good consistent run all year, and no doubt a few of the boys they're all pretty quick now, and I think I'm hoping we can give Justin a bit of a run next season. Probably the one I'm kicking myself most over is the road course the other week where I was in front, and I got punted, but that's racing, isn't it? So move on to next season and try again.
That's it, and that's the pleasure about sim racing. We might all get a little bit heated every now and again, but there's a lot of respect by all drivers, and at some stages people make a wrong move or as I call it in my occasion, 9 times out of 10, run out of talent. So it happens, but that's the pleasure of sim racing, mate. You can press escape, you can go, and you can go again next week, and that's what's good, and that's what's great about the Australasian Supercar eSeries. It's an inclusive iRacing league, and some sensational drivers, and everyone has a lot of respect for each other. But, mate, the winner of the Indy 400 tonight for the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries for what was the final round. I know you've had some team mergers, so a big shout-out to all those sponsors and everyone involved for the win tonight.
Yeah, cheers, mate. First, I suppose, well done, Sean and Kate on the podium, and Adam just missing out there too. We had a good race until the end, and I think we're all pretty much tossed a coin between all 4 of us. But other than that, yeah, United Electrical with Walshy's business there and Hot Toddies. Yeah, they've come on board. It's good to have them on the team and expand the numbers a bit more. And also, yeah, Ferris Shifters, they've come on. We've worked a deal out, and yeah, all the boys are getting a new Ferris Shifter coming up soon as well. So we'll be able to smash some cogs with them next year. It'll be a bit of fun. So.
Well, mate, that's good. I've got to get a part of that somehow. I don't know how, but no, no, that's awesome, man. But congratulations on the team and what you did for season 2 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and more so, congratulations on your P1 tonight. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the round 11, the final round of the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries. It was the 45 Sim Boys entry of Gary Wellman, but it's not over yet. It brings us straight across to the man, which is no stranger to the Indy Esports Network here in the broadcast booth. It's your reigning champion, and it's your current champion, back-to-back winner, the 21 Pinnacle Esports entry of Justin Witcher. Congratulations, mate, back-to-back. How good is that?
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah, this one was a little bit of a downer on last year. We had a bit of tyre issue towards the end, so didn't finish it off the way I would have liked to, but nonetheless, yeah, away with the second championship.
Well, mate, second championship around a quality field that you've got, that's definitely no mean feat. You pretty much come into the round tonight with it sewn up, with the only 18 drivers and having about a 25 gap point to Scott Rankin in second. Coming into the race, you knew coming into the race, I'd say, that you had this one sewn up. We saw early that you dropped right back to the pack, tried the fuel save. Obviously, you were going to try win the race. We knew you never weren't going to try win the race, but just not the night that what could have been. But you've got to be happy with the championship, mate. Back to back, it's definitely not easy to do. Like it might look that you've pretty much, had the run of the field, getting back to back championships, but you'll be the first to say that it's not easy. There's some quality drivers in here, and I'm sure you'll be going into season 3 and thinking it's not going to be hard to make. It's going to be hard to make it 3 seasons from 3.
Yeah, definitely. There's always someone who pops up, here, there, and everywhere, and takes us all, blows us away. And then, as you said, like the boys, Sim Boys guys are always strong. Southern Stars boys are always thereabouts as well. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be hard for the three-peat. To be honest, I don't think I'll be back here. I can't see it. These boys are definitely getting stronger and stronger. I think a few of my wins this year have been strategy related. So, yeah, as tonight's shown, there's a lot of boys are now clicking onto that. And, once they've got you beaten on that and got raw pace, and it's going to be hard to match it with them.
So the biggest question, though, so you're champion twice in a row, but the biggest question tonight on the Indy Esports Network, not taken away from your championship, how do you feel about Paul Jackson coming back into the field next season?
Look, Paul will be fine. I think me and him race the same way. I actually learned a bit from Paul when I first jumped on a couple of years ago. So
are you going to give him a big head, mate? Don't say
no.
that.
I must admit we've had our battles, but there's been definitely times where him and Barry, I've gone, you know what, I'm gonna just follow these guys and see what happens. So I'm looking forward to racing with Paul. That should be good.
Most definitely, mate. It will be good. I'm actually looking more forward to being able to commentate on Paul racing, because I'm going to throw him under the bus as much as I can, mate. Yep. So that's going to be interesting. But, mate, big congratulations on your second championship, mate. The second season of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. You're the only man with his name on the trophy through the first 2 seasons. Big shout out to all those sponsors and everyone involved, mate.
First off, RayWhite, Rural Gayndah, Peter Matson for sponsoring the league. The boys at Pinnacle Esports, so Greg, Matt, Nige, Raymond. Those boys, they're the ones that in your ear, I'm in their ear, day in, day out. So a big congrats to them. It's not, not just a single person. Those boys have come up with the strategy in that sometimes when I've faltered. So Witcher Electrics, Sim Racing Edge, and Supercars, that is. Got someone else there. That's horrible. And yeah, last of all, you boys at Intersim for putting it on. Paul behind the camera, Aiden, Ryan for commentating, and obviously Raymond and Greg for putting on the league as well.
Most definitely, mate. Our pleasure, and what a great league it is, the Australasian Supercar eSeries. We're looking forward to bringing you all the action here for season number 3 on the Indy Esports Network. But ladies and gentlemen, your back-to-back champion, it is the number 1. I was about to say number 21, but the number 1 Pinnacle Esports entry of Justin Witcher. Your back-to-back Australasian Supercar eSeries champion, brought to you by RayWhite Royal Gayndah here on the Indy Esports Network. That does bring to an end, though, season number 2 here on the Indy Esports Network. We'll see season 3 in the next couple of weeks. Be sure to tune in and don't miss all the action for that one. But
well, Aiden,
it doesn't stop. Yes.
We do have a Scotty Rankin in the green room.
No, not that one. Before we end up, we got some little gossip coming up too. So run through what's coming up next, and then I've got to bring someone else into the booth, and we'll get a little inside sneak peek of something.
Okay, this will be interesting. That'll be interesting. But anyway, we do bring to the end round 11, season 2 of the RayWhite Royal Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries. It doesn't stop here on the Indy Esports Network, though, because we'll be going live on Wednesday night for what will be the 6th and final round of the MSR TCR League from Knock Hill over in the UK, the virtual Knock Hill. That'll be Wednesday night. We'll go live from 6:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. But Paul, bring someone into the booth, give us a sneak peek on what's going on, and let us know before we bring this broadcast to a close.
Alrighty, boys. We'll got to bring in none other than the man Raymond Jaeger, and we'll bring him into the booth, and he's going to give us a little bit of a sneak peek into what's coming up for season 3.
I'm looking forward to this one. This is where I wish I was driving, because
this is where you hear it first, Ed.
Yeah, mate, you hear it first here on the Indy Esports Network. Where else do you tune into all your downloads? But this is where I wish that I was driving. So I was going to be driving season 3 and be taking you out, Paul. But now you're going to have to listen to my silly voice. But I'm looking forward to hearing this. Raymond Jaeger, mate, season 2, first and foremost, sensational season. Forgetting the fact for a moment that your teammate goes back-to-back and takes the championship, which is an absolute sensational effort. But from a league organiser's point of view, and I actually know that now, what it's like to do, mate, you've got to be proud. Sensational league, sensational effort. And, mate, what a series it was, and you've got to be happy with that one.
Yeah, look, overall the series went fantastically. I mean, the racing was brilliant from the start to finish. I mean, to finish tonight with 160 laps green flag racing, that's incredible. So fair play to all the boys to manage that. But yeah, overall, season was really good. We, as an admin team, probably made a few mistakes with the scheduling of the season, but then we've learned from that, and we're going to rectify it for this coming year. But yeah, so let's talk about season 3, because I know that's what everybody wants to hear, right? So we're gonna start in January 30th. So it's 2 weeks from now. That will be round 1, and we'll be at Homestead Miami Speedway. Reason we've chose that is, in the past, that's provided some really, really good racing in this series. The cars can run 3 different lanes on that track, and it always is entertaining. So we're going to go with that.
I was just going to ask, is that because Greg doesn't want to do another Indy?
Well, look, I had floated the idea. We are going to change the placement of Indy 400 next year, because we just feel like maybe the end of the season is not the right spot for it. I did float the idea of starting with it, changed our mind late in the decision-making schedule, because we obviously finish it with it this year, don't really want to start with it next season. But Yeah, Greg did play a part in that. He definitely does not want to run another Indy 400.
I just don't think he wants to run Indy in general. Let's be honest.
That is a fact. Yes, that is a fact. But no, so we're going to try. We're probably going to slot that in the middle of the season. There is still moving parts in the schedule. We're not 100% finalised yet, so that'll be in the next couple of days that I'll have the actual schedule out. But round 1 is finalised. Homestead Miami Speedway. So get excited about that. Get practicing. Hopefully, we'll see you all there for some amazing racing. One thing I do want to mention about the schedule, we're going back to full-time oval racing. We're taking out the road courses and the rovals. We're going to try going back to what we were all about to begin with, and that's oval racing. So that should be good.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to next season then, with no road tracks.
Well, a question I've got for you, Raymond,
Yes.
and this is not from a racer point of view, more so just broadcaster trying to let people know, anyone that wants to join the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. We've found through some of the races over the last 2 seasons, and from a broadcast perspective, there's been, strategy with tyres and people blowing front tyres and stuff. It is a fixed setup league. Are these guys going to be able to have these setups with plenty of time to be able to do practice, not a day or 2 before the race? So are they going to be able to have these setups, or are they going to just be like jump in and have a go? Like, how are you looking at managing it there from a setup point of view?
Yeah, so that is a great point, and that is something I definitely had planned to alter the way it currently works, because as it works at the moment is basically I jump on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning, I whip up a set and put it in the Discord for them to practice with basically that night or the day of the race, and that's not really viable. Doesn't allow some of these guys to practice saving that front tyre, which is what the series is sort of built on. I want drivers to be able to manage their race. That's what we're trying to do. So what I'm going to be doing, and it helps that we've now ran 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So I've got some setups in the bank already. We're not going to tweak them too much because we're pretty happy with most track setups.
Until iRacing decides to do an update.
Yeah, well, that's it. But for now, touch wood, we won't have to change too much of the setups. So what I want to do is I want to get them all uploaded into the Discord before the season starts, so that people can practice when they want, and yeah, hopefully it'll improve some people's ability to manage those tyres and understand what they need from fuel as well.
Well, mate, I absolutely can't wait to call it. I'm devastated I can't get to race it, but I'm even more excited and devastated that I get to commentate again for the 3rd season running, and it's still going to be broadcast here on the Indy Esports Network. So it's going to be in the same place. People don't need to go and look anywhere else. We were going to step back so me and Paul could race, but we've decided to keep going on the Indy Esports Network, and it's our absolute pleasure to be able to do that, and humbling to see you guys just want us to keep broadcasting it here.
Yeah. Look, as I mean, we've obviously had plenty of discussions about this over the last few weeks, but so everyone knows what's going on is obviously you boys want to race. I get that. It's a great series to race in. Why wouldn't you want to be doing it? But yeah, we really know that we've got an established sort of group that watch this racing each week. So for us, it was really important to try and stay where we are, so people know where to find the race without having to find any. I mean, obviously we can post in the Facebook, but you yourself, as the lead commentator, you're sort of the voice of the Australian SUPERCAR eSeries at this point. So, we really wanted to stick with that, and we're, as I said, we're super happy to still have you boys on board and yourself commentating. One more thing about the schedule that I can confirm is there will be, so there's no road racing, but there will be a dirt race. We haven't decided on what track yet. We haven't decided if it's going to be heat racing or if it's just going to be a race, but there will be a dirt race.
This is where I'm devastated. I might have to get another commentator in for that one, because it'll be game on there. But no, that's a really good concept. That'll be interesting. SUPERCAR on dirt. Bring that on.
Yeah, I've run a few laps in test sessions. It's a handful. but it's a lot of fun. So yeah, it should be interesting.
Well, mate, we look forward to season 3. We might have to wrap up the broadcast, but there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You're hearing from the league owner, Raymond Yeager, who actually came away with a top 4 in the championship, mate. So big congratulations to that. Better than your season 1 win. I know that being a league admin sometimes takes away from your racing. I've definitely found that in the last couple of weeks. But, mate, good job on your, I think it was P3 or P4 in the championship this season. So congratulations on that. But ladies and gentlemen, Raymond Yeager, your league admin of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. You heard it here first on the Indy Esports Network. It will be all oval racing next season, and there will be one dirt event. So if you do like the Australasian Supercar eSeries and everything you see here on the Indy Esports Network, of course brought to you by RayWhite Rural Gayndah, jump on to iRacing and send your league application and make sure that you do not miss any of the action and can be a part of it here for the RayWhite Rural Gayndah Australasian Supercar eSeries for what will start round number 1 at Homestead, Miami in 2 weeks' time, and you'll be able to catch all the action here on the Indy Esports Network. Your winner tonight here for the final round of the Australasian Supercar eSeries was Gary Wellman, Sean Hart in second, Kate Donnelly in third. We had Justin Witcher going back-to-back. He's the reigning champion. He is the current champion, and we'll go into season 3 in 2 weeks' time. As I said earlier, we will go live again on Wednesday night as we bring you the final round, round number 6 of the MSR TCR League from Knock Hill over in the United Kingdom. But from myself, Paul, and Ryan Barber, and everyone here at the Indy Esports Network, we hope you enjoyed all the action. We look forward to seeing you on Wednesday night.